If you've started looking into AI voice agents but feel the learning curve might be too steep, you're not alone. Whether you're totally new to this technology, have played around with it, or even know how to build basic AI agents, this video will expand your understanding by covering everything you need to know. I'll be walking you through every step, breaking down complex parts into actionable, easy to follow sections so you can skip the guesswork and build effective AI voice agents confidently. If you're concerned about technical know-how, I'll cover both beginner-friendly and advanced techniques so you'll never feel lost. And if you already have the basics down, you'll still get plenty of value through the latest updates, integrations, and live client examples to deepen your knowledge. I've built AI voice agents across several industries from home services like pressure washing, HVAC, real estate, property management, and travel. I've also seen firsthand the power of fully automating inbound calls and scaling outbound campaigns. Whether it's handling client inquiries, booking appointments, or even running large-scale lead generation, I've seen AI agents drive results, reduce costs, and create a really seamless experience for businesses and customers alike. My goal is to share these insights with you to help maximize the potential of AI voice agents in your own work. Here is exactly what we're going to cover in this video. So to get started, we're going to be exploring 5 real-world use cases for AI callers, and I'm going to be showing you client examples from our own agency, as well as some other builds as well. Then I'm going to walk you through step by step on setting up a custom AI caller for a home services business. You'll see how to script and structure calls that provide value and answer FAQ questions. Next, we're going to integrate Google Calendar so that your AI agent can handle bookings without manual input. This feature is a game changer for appointment-based businesses as it creates a seamless connection between the caller and the calendar, reducing no-shows and any double bookings. Then I'm going to show you how to set up an AI voice agent specifically designed for Facebook ad conversions. This caller will help you increase ad engagement on your ads by following up with leads, answering questions, and even driving them to take action right after they engage with your ad. Then I'm going to show you how to build an inbound AI caller for restaurants. So I'll demonstrate how to build this system to handle customer inquiries, take reservations, and even answer any questions about the menu. And this approach will hopefully give customers instant responses while freeing up staff for more in-person tasks. Then I'm going to show you how to create an outbound AI caller that will efficiently work through a lead list, engaging customers and gathering information for follow-ups. This caller is also set up for scaling outreach efforts without any cost and time of manual dialing. Then I'm going to show you how you can actually reduce the cost of your AI caller, and I'm going to be sharing some strategies for optimizing your AI caller setup to reduce costs without sacrificing the effectiveness or quality of the system. Then we're going to look at website integrations for our AI voice agents. So you're going to learn how to embed the agent into your website for obviously enhancing customer engagement so visitors can interact with it at any time. And finally, I'm going to demonstrate the latest in the real-time API integrations that makes our AI agents sound a lot more lifelike and more responsive than ever. By the end of this video, you're going to have a solid foundation in building and deploying AI voice agents with advanced techniques for integrations and real-time responses. For any business owners looking to implement these systems, feel free to book a call with me below. Businesses are adding tens of thousands of dollars in clients monthly using AI phone systems. These AI automated phone systems have replaced the need to answer phone calls manually. Think of it like Jarvis from Iron Man being your personal assistant. I've built several AI phone systems for various industries and use cases. And in this video, I will break down 5 ways that we have implemented AI phone callers for businesses, which we've sold from $4,000 to $12,500 each. My name is Brendan and I run Inflate AI, where my team and I help businesses integrate the latest AI solutions. If you are an agency owner looking to sell AI phone systems or a business owner looking to implement this video will get you up to speed on how these systems are actually being used today. I'll start off with one of our most requested systems, which is a lead qualification and appointment booking agent. This system would be assigned to a phone number on a website, and interested customers would just call this number to get more information about the business. The AI would help answer any of their questions, direct the conversations to collect information about them, and then hopefully book them into an appointment. Otherwise, we would then notify the sales team to provide a follow-up call if they wanted to then make that sale. One of our clients, we deployed this system to run after hours only when they were not taking any calls at all. With this new system, they were able to capture an extra 1 to 2 clients per month from all of the extra bookings that they hadn't been booking previously, which then added an extra 10 to 20K per month to their business. This is a really perfect example of how we can actually deploy this system with very little risk and get quite an excellent return for the company. But obviously we can go ahead and replace all of the calls instead of the ones that were just after hours, and we can just fully automate everything as well. The second system that we've seen is a customer support / sort of technical support line. Once again, this is just a phone number on the website or wherever your customers find your number, and then any customer can just call it. We found that many small business owners typically take these calls themselves which just consists of really repetitive questions and general FAQ stuff. By implementing this system, we can remove all of that pressure on the business owner. E-commerce stores or home services businesses like lawn mowing or plumbing could definitely use this system. This system can also be combined with an appointment setter, where we can actually offer that potential lead to book an appointment. So we answer all their questions, and at the end we just say, would you be interested in booking a call? And then we can obviously ask for a date and time, book them directly into whether that's Go High Level, Google Calendar, anything. We can do that through an AI voice caller. Replacing all calls or just the after hours calls with this system would once again, depending on the size of the business of course, quickly add an extra set of clients through the appointment booking, and more importantly, free up the invaluable time for the business owner. The third system is an auto attendant. So this is sort of a digital receptionist who assists callers in finding the right person or department to talk to. So businesses are already sort of using this system, but in a more static way. So when we call a company, we're typically prompted to press 1 or press 2 for the correct department if we want sort of the technical department, sales department, etc. So with this AI version, we can just tell the receptionist what we're looking for, and we can automatically classify this using AI as either a technical inquiry, sales inquiry, or whichever department the business might have, and just either forward that call directly to the phone number of the person who's meant to be taking that inquiry, or we can actually just save that inquiry and email it directly to that person. This improves the customer experience by allowing them to reach the right person quicker without listening to that, annoying audio recording and then pressing all those buttons, which causes a lot of friction, of course. And if that caller was interested in the business's services, we can actually combine this with the appointment setter once again to directly book them into the calendar. So for number 4, we have a bit of a controversial use case, which is cold calling. So this involves taking a list of leads and calling them to see if they would be interested in purchasing certain services. Now, just recently, the FCC, responsible for communications in the United States, announced that AI-generated phone calls without permission is illegal. This means that we cannot call anyone without permission using this system. So if you are outside of the US, you might be able to deploy the system now, but I probably wouldn't recommend it. We've suggested to our clients that if you just add a confirmation box to a website contact form or a lead magnet or wherever your leads are landing, that essentially gives you permission for marketing material, or that we can just call them at any time, then what we can do is automatically run this call to call them 2 to 3 minutes later. And after waiting just a few minutes, we can call this potential client and then book them into an appointment. So obviously this isn't cold calling specifically, but it is a way that we can send outbound calls to potential clients to book in appointments. The final use case ties into the previous one, where we call any leads that have actually previously purchased from the business. So we're ensuring that at some point they've consented to receive these calls or related marketing materials. So this is actually a really great way to reactivate customers needing that business's services again. This use case is actually really quite powerful because we can call all of the previous clients at scale, and they'll either just decline the call, and that doesn't really matter, or they'll actually go ahead and book an appointment and say, yes, we actually are really in need of your services at the moment, and you're going to immediately make the business more money. So this can be used by cleaning companies, plumbers, electrician. The list really goes on. These sort of repeat services can immediately get a lot of value from this.
Hey, welcome to Lawn Care. How can we help you today?
Hey, I'd like to get a quote.
Great. Could I please get your first and last name?
John Smith.
Thanks, John. Will this be for a home or commercial facility?
It's for my house.
Okay, great. What is the address?
123 Main Street.
Perfect. Just to confirm, that's 123 Main Street?
Yeah, that's right.
Awesome. We will need to inspect the property for an accurate quote. What time and day suits you best?
Tomorrow, 2 p.m.
One moment. Sure, we've booked you in for tomorrow at 2 p.m. We will see you then.
And there we go, an appointment has now been booked for tomorrow at 2 p.m. That was an AI voice agent qualifying me and then booking me into a Google Calendar slot for lawn mowing services. Home services businesses like pressure washing, pool maintenance, window cleaning, plumbing, etc. all get a significant amount of calls every single day, either booking them into appointments, providing quotes, or answering questions. With advancements in generative AI technology, we can now generate quick responses and realistic sounding voices. If the business owner takes these calls, it is going to consume a lot of time from doing tasks that actually help grow the business. Taking these calls manually can result in missed calls and lost opportunities, adding up over time and making a great impact on the business's bottom line. The customer experience is also far better as they are immediately connected with someone who can directly assist them in exactly what they're looking for. In this video, I will show you exactly how to build an AI voice agent that qualifies leads for certain services, guides them down the particular path for that service, and books them into an appointment on Google Calendar. My name is Brendan and I run Inflate AI, where my team and I help businesses integrate the latest AI solutions. We've helped build AI voice solutions for several different industries, including pressure washing, irrigation, real estate, HVAC, etc. All of our clients have seen an increase in appointments booked or leads qualified, so this is a must-have system for home services businesses. To build this, I'll use Vapi for the phone system and Make for the automations. And don't worry if you are not technical, because both of these platforms are no/low code tools that you can learn very quickly. So I've just gone ahead and created a brand new account on the Vapi AI phone caller platform. You can go ahead and do the same using my link in the description. To get started in creating our assistant on the Vapi platform, you're going to land on a page that looks just like this. To get started, we're just going to go to the Create Assistant button. In this first box here, we can give our assistant a name. I'm just going to name this the lawn mowing bot. So the goal for my assistant is going to be building an inbound phone number for a lawn mowing service. This means that customers can go on their website, they can see the number for that particular business, they're going to call in for their particular lawn mowing services, they're going to talk to the bot and just tell it what it needs, whether that's one service over the other. It's then going to take that information, capture it, it's going to then book an appointment with that information as well. And then that's going to be done. So once we've given our assistant a name, you're going to see these options here. I'm just going to select blank template because I'm going to be starting from scratch. So once you've gone ahead and done that, you're going to land on a page that looks just like this. This is now our assistant page because we've now created it and we're in our assistant settings. If you did want to learn more about the in-depth settings to everything there is to know about Vapi, I do have a 2-hour AI phone caller platform where you can learn everything there is to know about AI phone callers, which you can click in the top right. But for the purpose of this video, we're going to be building a lawn mowing inbound caller that looks between 2 different services that the company offers. It then goes down a particular path that the caller was interested in, and then goes ahead and then books an appointment into Google Calendar. So the first thing I'm going to do is create my first message. In this instance, I'm just going to say, hey, welcome to Lawn Care. How can we help you today? Then I'll move on to the system prompt. I'm just going to remove this as we don't need that. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this template that I've created and I'm going to structure my prompt around this template. So this template really just covers some of the basic elements that you should be including in your prompts to ensure that the assistant is sort of guided in the right direction so that it understands everything that it should understand. It knows the business, it knows the services, it knows its objectives, and that's what this template really covers. So before I dive into this prompt, the goal for this sort of lawn care caller assistant is going to be classifying this call into 2 different services. So this company might offer 2 different services. One might be commercial lawn mowing for schools or companies, and then one might be sort of your typical houses that are sort of mowing the backyard. So the goal for this assistant will be finding out whether or not it's an organization or it's a house, and then doing 2 different paths based on that, and then eventually booking them into an appointment. So the first thing I've gone ahead and put in here is, you are John, an experienced salesperson for lawn mowing services. You are friendly and love to help customers find the right services. So the role is really trying to tell the assistant who they are and how they should act. So they should act as an experienced salesperson. They should also act friendly. And this is the overall sort of personality trait to them. Then the next step is building out the task. So what the assistant is actually doing. So you converse with the caller and find out which of our services they are a fit for, and then book them into an appointment to receive a quote. So this is the task that they have at hand. They need to converse with the caller, talk with them, grab some information, and then book an appointment. The next part in our prompt is the actual specifics. So this is how they actually achieve the task that we just set. So in this case, you will greet the user and try to capture their first and last name. You will then qualify the caller between 2 different services, either commercial lawn mowing or home lawn mowing. Once this is collected, you will ask for their address. You'll then capture the date and time they would like an in-person appointment for a quote. The next step is just giving it some information about the business. So it really just has a good understanding as to what the business is about, what its objectives are, so that really just aligns on the same path and generates a really good call. So for this, I've said Lawn Care has over 20 years of experience mowing lawns. We value our customers and offer money back guarantees if we don't meet their expectations. Then the next step is what we do. So depending on the complexities of the services provided, that may or may not be needed. In this case, lawn mowing, it's pretty simple and straightforward, so I probably don't need that. But obviously, if the services are more complex, it's something that you can include. Once we've got some context for the business, we're going to be moving on to one of the most important parts of our prompt, which is the examples. So the examples is what it's really going to follow. It's really going to look at the examples, and try to follow this exact sort of script. So the first example that I have here is for the home lawn mowing scripts. Like I said earlier, we're going to have two different sort of scripts this is going to go down, and this is how we can sort of do that. So this script will start off by saying, hey, welcome to Lawn Care. How can we help you today? If the customer says, hi, I'd like to get a quote, it will then continue. If they don't say that, that is still fine and it may still continue on. This is still using the sort of AI models in the background to really figure out what to respond with. So we don't have to be exactly precise in how we respond. It will sort of pick up on if somebody says it or words it slightly differently. It may require some further notes, but I'll cover what that means in a minute. This will then move on to, great, could I get your first and last name? If they provide that, thanks John, this will be for a home or commercial facility. And at this point, that is the sort of deciding factor. Will this be for a home or commercial facility? So they are the two different scripts that we're going to be going down. In this case, they've said my home, and we've said what's the address, confirming the address, and then we're just saying to get an accurate quote, what time and day suits you best, where they're going to book that appointment. And I'll cover the appointment booking function in just a minute. But to do this, I said run the booking function. And then once we've done that, sure, we've booked you in for tomorrow at 2 p.m. Now below this, I've just added in another script, which is for our different sort of service. So in this case, this is the commercial lawn mowing services. And this is exactly the same until it gets to this point here. Will this be for a home or commercial facility? And in this case, it said it's for a schoolyard. And so in this case, it said, okay, great. What's the address? And then it said, perfect. We need to make a visual assessment. This will cost around $500. Is that okay? They've said, yes, that's fine. Then the appointment is scheduled. So if this is working correct, we should be able to tell it whether or not we have a home or a commercial facility. And based on that, it's going to be able to look at these two different scripts. It's going to then know which one we should ask to pay us $500 or which one we should just book the appointment straight away. So let's test if this actually works.
Hey, welcome to Lawn Care. How can we help you today?
Hey, I was looking to see if I could get a quote.
Great. Could I please get your first and last name?
Johns.
Thanks, John. Will this be for a home or commercial facility?
It'll be for my house.
Okay, great. What is the address?
It's 120 John Street.
Perfect. Just to confirm, that's 120 John Street?
Yeah, that's right.
Awesome. We will need to inspect the property for an accurate quote. What time and day suits you best for an in-person appointment?
Yeah, tomorrow 3 p.m. will work.
Great. I've booked you in for tomorrow at 3 p.m.
So that worked perfectly, and now I'm going to do the commercial side of it.
Hey, welcome to Lawn Care. How can we help you today?
Hey, I was looking to see if I could get a quote.
Great. Could I please get your first and last name?
Yeah, it's Mary Smith.
Thanks, Mary. Will this be for a home or commercial facility?
It's for a commercial facility. It's actually a factory.
Got it. What is the address of the factory?
It's 125 Smith Street.
Perfect. We will need to make a visual assessment, and this will cost around $500. Is that okay with you?
Yeah, that's completely fine.
Great. What time would you like to schedule the appointment for the quote?
Maybe Friday, 4 p.m.
Got it. I've booked the appointment for Friday at 4 p.m.
So there we go. We've now been able to provide two different scripts for two different purposes and have it go down this sort of flow between two different scripts. And in this case, it's able to sort of see that detection point and then go down the different scripts depending on that. And then from there, we can do whatever we want. And then lastly, I have a notes section at the end here. And this is what I use for really testing and really just adding to the existing assistant. So the reason it sort of needs this is that not every time will it run perfectly like it just did then. Sometimes you'll see there are some inconsistencies with certain things. And that's why we really value testing at our agency. This prompt here is really good and it gives you these sort of foundational elements to building a really good prompt. But once you deploy the system and start to get some feedback, you'll notice that there are areas that you'll want to improve on, whether it's saying something slightly differently, especially if you're going to be adding more to this prompt, whether it's having 5 different services instead of 2, you're going to start to realize that you need some notes to actually start to add in some guardrails. And these guardrails is really making sure that the assistant is confined to really saying certain things, and you can do that through the notes. So I do recommend you go ahead and watch my prompt engineering for AI callers video, where I really break down prompt engineering for AI callers, and I cover the importance of testing these assistants, because whilst it might work really well when you get it up and running, once you deploy the system, you start getting calls through, you realize it's not as consistent and as reliable as you thought it was. And so really testing this assistant and really changing a lot of the words can actually increase the accuracy by a lot. But for testing purposes, this prompt will get the job done. But for our clients, we would go through and add in some more conditioning. For example, we would want to confirm their first and last name every time. We would want to confirm their address every time, just to make sure that over a span of a long time, capturing all of these calls coming through, we want to make sure that we're always getting the right info, especially if we're going to be booking appointments or sending data to CRM systems. We want to make sure that the data is correct, and we can do that. It just requires more conditioning, more testing, and just more work adding onto this initial script. But fundamentally, this covers the base of everything. I'm now going to move into booking appointments into Google Calendar. And so this is a template that I have released on a previous video where I showed you how to build this template and book appointments from Vapi into Google Calendar. I recommend you join my free school community, which is linked below, where I'm going to have this make template as well as the Vapi prompt in my school community for completely free. So to connect this appointment booking template to our assistant, we just need to go over to the Functions tab on Vapi, and we're going to use the tools. Now, previously I've used the custom functions section here. This has now been deprecated, which means they're just removing it and they're replacing it in order of tools. But the tools are pretty similar, and it just actually helps us manage and organize our assistants and functions a lot easier. So what I'm going to do is click select tools and just click create new tool. Then I'm going to click on new tool. I'm going to click on make.com. It's then going to ask us for a server URL. I'm going to go back to this template that I've gone ahead and imported. Click on the webhook here and just click copy address to clipboard. Add that into my server URL and click save. Then I'm going to click next. Then we need to create our property, which is the bit of data that we need to extract from our conversation into this make template for the appointment booking. So in this case, what we need to do is get not only the name, but as well as the time they'd like to book for, so we can send that information to our appointment booking. So the first one I'm going to create is called customer name. And in this case, we're saying capture the customer's first and last name. Keep that as a string and hit save. We'll create a new property for booking time. This is the date and time the user wants to book. Save. And then we also want to capture the service types, whether or not it was a commercial service or it was a home service, so that the people that are there know which one it was. So I'm just going to type service type. And I'm going to say, this is the type of service, either home or commercial. Save. Then hit next. And then we just need to give it some broad info about what the tool is used for. So for name, we're just going to say, and then in the description, we're going to describe its purpose, which is this is used to book appointments for our services. And then we're just going to hit create. And once we've done this, we've now created a tool on Vapi, and this tool can actually be used across all of our assistants. So on Vapi, obviously we can actually create more than one assistant. So we can then just use this tool and duplicate it across all of our assistants. So we actually only have to set that up really once, depending on obviously how many bots you need it for. Hit select tool, booking, and now it is now assigned to our assistant. So let's see if this actually works.
Hey, welcome to Lawn Care. How can we help you today?
Hey, I was looking to see if I could get a quote.
Great. Could I please get your first and last name?
Yeah, John Smith.
Thanks, John. Will this be for a home or commercial facility?
It's for my home.
Okay, great. What is the address?
123 Main Street.
Perfect. Just to confirm, that's 123 Main Street. What time
Yep.
and day suits you best? Awesome. We will need to inspect the property for an accurate quote. What time and day suits you best?
Can you do tomorrow 4 p.m.?
This'll just take a sec. Sure, we've booked you in for tomorrow at 4 p.m.
So there we have it. It was able to take that booking time as well as some other information and book that directly into Google Calendar. You can see here that it has directly booked itself into my Google Calendar at 4 p.m. Tomorrow. It's also included all of the information with the booking, the name, the service type, and it's also got some notes down here that I created, which is part of the template. If you have seen the template video, you'll notice that you will have to obviously configure this to work with your time zone. So you won't be able to just copy and paste this directly in. You do need to change it up in terms of the time zones to make sure it knows exactly when to book for. Once that is set up, you will be able to just directly book into Google Calendar using that automation and then connect it to this Vapi prompt. Now, there were a few things that I did have to change quickly when I was testing this. One thing was that I said only run the function once and do not format the date. These are two things that I just added in here because these are just some conditionings that I found that sometimes it might run the function twice for some reason, or it might format the date in a date that it doesn't, or the make.com automation doesn't like. So just say don't format the date, only run the function once, and it seemed to work quite good. So this is a really good example of some of the notes and additional things that you need to add into the prompt when you start testing it, because I guarantee when I start testing this thing more, there's going to be a lot more that I will need to add in to make this thing more consistent and more reliable over time. And so in this case, doing something like that worked. And then once again, there's going to be more things that you need to add in when you start to test this thing. In this video, I will show you how to book into Google Calendar using an AI phone caller. If you are not familiar with AI phone callers, these are realistic sounding, quick to respond AI systems that can directly replace the need for manual phone calls. This video will cover specifically how to build the particular automation to book appointments into Google Calendar. So if you do want to learn more about building AI phone callers from scratch, you can go ahead and watch my 2-hour tutorial in the top right. You can simply ask the assistant when you would like to book in for. If the time is available, you'll be directly booked in. And if the time is not available, it will recommend 3 alternative close times, which you can then choose from. This automation does not require any third-party calendar services like cal.com. We're going to directly book into Google Calendar. Here is a quick demo of the system.
Hello, this is Mary from Mary's Dental. How can I assist you today?
Hey, I'd like to book in an appointment for tomorrow at 11 a.m.
This'll just take a sec. Great news! Your appointment for tomorrow at 11 a.m. is booked. See you then.
Thank you. To do this, I'm going to be using Vapi.ai for the AI phone caller and Make.com for the booking automation. And at the end of this video, I'll give you access to this template for completely free. My name is Brendan and I run Inflate AI, where my team and I help businesses integrate the latest AI solutions. So this is the automation that I've built to book appointments into Google Calendar, and you can connect the system directly to any AI phone caller system. But in this case, I've gone ahead and connected this to a Vapi assistant as a function. And whenever a booking is needed, you can just run that function. It runs this make automation and either checks if the appointment slot is been booked. If it hasn't, it'll book it in. And if it has been booked before, it'll recommend 3 other times that are close to that time. So once again, if you aren't familiar with Vapi or Make, you can go ahead and watch my 2-hour tutorial where I cover everything there is to know about Make and about Vapi. So I'm going to do a walkthrough of exactly how this automation works step by step. So the first module that I've got in this Make template is the webhook, and the webhook is where we receive data from. So if I go back to Vapi, you should be familiar with this, but in the functions section, I've got a booking function, and this booking function is called booking. And the function description is this function is used to book an appointment. Only run this function if the name has been captured and the appointment time is stated by the user only. So the reason we've done this is because we want to capture their name. We want to know who's booking the appointment and obviously when that appointment is being booked. And that is the only data that is required to make this make automation work. Once we've gone ahead and captured information into our webhook with the name and booking date, we're moving on to this next step, which is a ChatGPT or OpenAI step. So the reason that we have this step is because not always will it tell us the date and time and year and all of that info. We do have to sort of figure that out ourselves. So in the case of the demo that I just showed you previously, I said that I'd like to book for tomorrow at 11 a.m. So the system has to figure out what day tomorrow even is, where does 11 a.m. fit into that, what time is it currently, and also what time zone are they in, and obviously the system has its own time zone and how we can actually communicate that data to get the right date and time. So what I've gone ahead and done is created a system prompt here that says we have just asked the user when they would like to book a meeting. You'll be provided with the current date and their response. You must output the date and time they would like to book the meeting in date-time format. Only output the date-time in ISO 8601 format, no notes/text, and only output in UTC time. So we're just adding in some conditioning here to set the time to be in a format that is accepted by the Google Calendar and by all of the other make steps that I'm going to show you in just a minute. Then below this, we have a user role that says this is the current date and time. So in my instance, this caller is being used and I'm calling from Australia, so I want it to be in my time zone. So I've gone ahead and put my time zone here. So in the case of your system, you want to obviously put in your time zone that the booking automation is going to be running in, as well as the people that are calling in from needs to be the right time zone. So if you're calling people in multiple different time zones, You may have to set this to be a variable and to change when you're calling somebody from a different time zone to obviously book in different time zones. So if you're only doing one time zone, you can just obviously type it in there. Then below this, we've got this function call parameter, and this is obviously the booking time that the user has just stated from Vapi. So I'll show you how to get this. If we go back to the Vapi dashboard, go into our function, we can actually run a sort of test payload from the Vapi platform. If I just look here, we can actually do a sample function payload. We'll see both of our properties here, name and booking time. And then all we need to do is just put in some fake values. So I can just type my name. We can type booking time as tomorrow, 9 a.m. And then ultimately, once you've got this data here, you can hit test endpoint. If I just go back here, we can hit run once, go here, test endpoint. And what you'll see is that data is about to populate, and boom, there we go. You'll see that this has actually ran down the path of not available because I am booked out for tomorrow at 9 a.m. So that has perfectly worked there. But ultimately what you'll get is once you've done that, you'll get all of these fields populated from Vapi, and then we can just click into the function call parameters and you'll see Brendan tomorrow 9 a.m. So the info that I just sent through is now populated, and you can use the booking time right here. And it just needs to know when the user would like to book so we can get the exact time format. Then we're moving on to a Google Calendar step, and this Google Calendar step is to understand whether or not the time that they're looking to book for is booked or not. And this is going to make the decision between either going down the path of making a booking or obviously not making a booking. And so what I've gone is created this Google Calendar get free busy information. If I just click into Google Calendar, that one is all the way at the bottom, get free busy information. So that's the one we want to use. And then I've got it added a minimum time, which is result. So result is the time that has come directly from our booking time. So this is the exact same time we like to book for. And then what I've done is in the maximum time. So the minimum time is the start of the appointment and the maximum time is the end of the appointment. So depending on how long you want the appointment to be, that's how long you set this to be. So this is a minutes value. So in my case, my appointments get set at 15 minutes. If yours are 30, you need to increase that to 30, or if they're an hour, increase them to 60 minutes. So in this case, I've done an add minutes function. On make.com, we can actually change the time with quite a few different settings. So I've gone ahead and used the add minutes function, and then that very simply adds minutes to the time. So it'll just put the maximum time as 15 minutes ahead of the booking time. And this will allow us to see if the calendar is booked within this time zone. If it is, then we go down two different paths. So now I have this router right here. You can go into tools and then use the router. The router is for going down two different paths based on a certain condition. In this case, the condition is whether or not the appointment is, or the time slot is booked. If I click on this little sort of line here, this is the sort of path that determines if it's going to go down that path. On the available section here, click into this, you'll see available condition, and we've used this variable from Google Calendar. And this variable from Google Calendar is telling us whether or not it's booked or not. So this value right here is essentially a value that is only populated if the booking time is booked out. So this booking value right here comes directly from the Google Calendar module right here. And so this value is only exists if it's booked out. So if it doesn't exist, it is available time. So if I just look at the result, this right here is the data that we've gotten back from this module. And it's either going to say that it is available to continue or it's not. So what we'll see here is busy. Because I was busy in that time zone, this busy part of the request that we got back is full. So we can see here, we are busy between 9 a.m. and 9:15. So we obviously can't go down that path. So that's why I've said if this does not exist, then it will run down this path. But if it does exist, it means we are busy and we have to go down the other path. So now if I click into the not available line here, I've just used this set fallback. So essentially if it doesn't run down this path, well, we have to be running down this path. So just click yes, and it will automatically run down this path. But in the case that we were available within that time frame, all it would do is create a new event in our calendar. You can connect to your Google Calendar account very easily within Make by just logging into your account. And then it's very easy to create the booking, just give it an event name. You can put in the function from the actual Vapi name of the person. You can put in the start date from the ChatGPT date they'd like to book. You can put in a duration here for how long you'd like it to go for, add in a description, and just add in a bunch of settings that are the same as the Google Calendar bookings are. And then from here, we're moving on to a webhook response. And this webhook response is just telling Vapi that the appointment has been booked. So if it goes down this path, this information here within the status, great, your appointment has been booked, is sent to Vapi to then tell us verbally that the appointment has been booked. and then we're good to go. Obviously, if that is not the case, we're going to now run down this path, which is going to hit this tools function. Now, the point of this tools function is to now format the date to the start of the day. So what's happened is that we've obviously found out that the time is not available. So what we want to do is go to the start of the day and go all the way to the end of the day and find out which time in between is actually available, and then suggest those options to the user. So we've gone ahead and used the format date function, a part of make.com. We've taken the result from the ChatGPT step, and we're just saying format that in a year, month, and date format, as well as in this sort of format here. So as long as it's the same as this, what we're going to get is the start date of that day, and we're going to use this to find out which areas or time slots in the day are available to be booked in for. So then we're using the Google Calendar free busy module again. We're putting in that day from here, so the start of the day. And then what we're doing is using an add hours function. So we're actually adding hours to the day to say between this time and 24 hours later, so the entire day, which are the time slots that are available. So if we run this function, it's going to give us all of the times that are available. So we can go to the JSON function right here. And then what we need to do is actually just format this data so that the ChatGPT step can use it. So using this JSON block here, click into this, and all we've done is use this object of the busy time slots from Google Calendar. So in this case, it's not actually looking for all of the times that are available. It's just looking at all of the times that have been booked. So it's looking at the entire day. It sees all of the times that are not available, and we're using AI to detect which time slots are available to then suggest to the user. Then what happens is that it takes the UTC time zone, because we're still in UTC time zone from when we first initially converted it at the start of the automation. And so all I'm doing is converting it back to my time zone. And the reason is because we want to obviously tell the user the times they want to book in for at the right time. So we're just using one step here. It says convert it from UTC to AEST, which is my time zone. So you would have to update that to your own time zone. Other than that, that'll work. Then we're just finding some alternative times. And so what we've done here is we're looking at all of the available times that we've just been given, and we just want it to essentially pick out the available times. And we're just using AI to do that. Using this sort of prompt here, once again, you'll get access to this in the template, but this is just saying, please recommend 3 alternative 15-minute time slots. It's looking through all of the time slots through the data that we gave it. We're obviously going to be wanting to look for that in the Australian time zone, so making sure that we output it within the right time zone. And then we're also using some further conditioning. Right here, I say, this is the current time. You must ensure it's not earlier than this. Obviously, we want to be booking into the future. So I've just put in the current date that is with also the current time zone. And then the final step, we're generating a message that we want to send to the user. So we're using this because we actually want to obviously tell the user and explain to the user exactly what time zones or time slots are available for them. And then we're just pretty much putting in the previous ChatGPT step of all the alternative times, giving it an example that says, unfortunately, your chosen time slot was booked out. You can book in for this time, that time, this time. And so that way we can really get a nicely formatted response to tell the user that these times are available. And then they can obviously make that decision to whether or not to book in for that time. And then obviously we have our webhook response. And this is just taking all of the information from this step, sending it to Vapi, and then just telling the user. So I'll go ahead and do another test run. So I'm going to try book in for 9 a.m. tomorrow, which I'm not available for. We'll go ahead and see what it says. So tomorrow 9 a.m. test endpoint, make sure that this is running. Once you've hit the scheduling button, it'll run every time. But just for this testing purpose, you got to hit the run button. It has now detected that. It's seen that the time is not available, and then it's just going to go ahead and use these ChatGPT steps to figure out whether or not we have some alternative times. Click into here, and you can see, unfortunately, your chosen time slot was booked out. We can, however, book you into one of these 3 close alternative times, 8 a.m., 9:15, or 11:15. So I just saw that these were the times that are available tomorrow, which is accurate. And then they can choose that time. As soon as they say they like to book in for 9:15, this automation will just run again, and then we can obviously have the right appointment booked. So I'll just showcase that happening again. Hit run once, go here, and let's say they decided that 9:15 would work for them. They can just hit test endpoint, or they would just say it, and then we'll see here, boom, the appointment has now been booked because 9:15 was available. And then there you go. So it's booked in that appointment and ready to go. Speed to lead is the time between someone contacting your business and you contacting them back. A quick response time gives you the first mover advantage, reducing the chance they'll contact a competitor and will help you establish a positive first impression. Facebook ads are a really powerful tool that enable businesses to capture leads in several different ways. One method is to send leads to a landing page and let people book into an appointment, or another is to use a Facebook lead form to capture a name, email, and phone number. With advancements in generative AI technology, we can now generate quick, human-like responses with realistic sounding voices that can be used over the phone. Here is a quick demo.
Hello, this is Mary from Mary's Dental. How can I assist you today?
Hey, I'd like to book in an appointment for tomorrow at 11 a.m.
This'll just take a sec. Great news! Your appointment for tomorrow at 11 a.m. is booked. See you then.
We combine this with Facebook ads and automatically call any lead who submits their information and consents to receiving a call. We can book appointments like never before. This is super powerful as it reduces the amount of effort on the side of the lead. They don't have to choose a time to book on your website. Facebook will automatically fill out most of the fields on your ads form, so all the lead needs to do is click the submit button. Once they receive the call, it is far easier to communicate their needs verbally and find the right fit for them. We can then automatically book them into an appointment. My name is Brendan and I run Inflate AI, where my team and I help businesses integrate the latest AI solutions. We've built AI voice solutions for several industries, including pressure washing, irrigation, real estate, HVAC, etc. I also use this exact same system within my own Facebook ads. In this video, I'll show you how to build and set up this system from scratch. To do this, I'll use Vapi for the AI voice caller and Make for the Facebook and booking automation. Don't worry if you're not technical, these platforms are both low/no code platforms and are very easy to get started with. This right here is the Facebook Ads Manager. Now, obviously this isn't going to be a Facebook ads tutorial, but this is my own Facebook Ads Manager, and I have used this exact same system within my own ads. So if you have already got Facebook ads running, then what you'll need to do is create a new ad set and select instant forms. So instant forms are the way that we can capture the name, the phone number, the email through a Facebook or Instagram ad. Rather than sending them directly to a website to then fill in the info, we can actually capture all of this within the application itself. And this is a really key component of the system because we're just trying to capture their phone number as quickly as possible so we can then call them up and book an appointment. So in your Facebook Ads Manager, go and create a new ad set. And what you'll need to do is go to this conversion section and click on Instant Forms. It'll sort of prompt you through the entire process of what you need to do. It's also very simple. You just click on Instant Forms and you create a new form. And that form will be set up for whatever your funnel is. Obviously not a Facebook ads tutorial, but what you need to do is set up the form, enable capturing a phone number. And one thing that you will need to do is actually add a little bit of text on the instant form that says that you may receive a call as a result of entering your information. And so by doing that, that person has now consented to receive a call and we are all in the green to go ahead and send them our call. So to set up our AI phone caller, this is a platform called Vapi.ai. Now, if you do want to learn more about the Vapi platform and about building AI voice callers, I do have a 2-hour tutorial, which you can go and view in the top right. But for the purpose of this video, I'm just going to cover the very basics and then connecting this to our Facebook ads. So this right here is the main Vapi dashboard. You can go ahead and sign up using my link in the description. You'll then land on a page that looks just like this. And this right here is an assistant that I've gone ahead and created. To do the same, go and click Create Assistant and then just select Blank Template. Once you've done that, you'll need to customize this for your specific business. So adding in the system prompt, first message, and all of the instructions to make it do exactly what you want it to do. And once again, I do have a whole variety of videos covering how to prompt your assistant, how to build these things, and really create a powerful voice system. For the purpose of this automation, you can just go through and add a really basic prompt that just says, you are an assistant for my company, do this, and then just leave it as that. We're just going to be setting up the automation. So once you've done that, just click on publish and make sure it's saved. And now we're going to head into make.com to build the automation that then sends a call to each new Facebook lead. And so this is actually a really simple make automation that takes 2 modules in make that looks at the Facebook leads that are coming through and then triggers a call using the Vapi module. So once again, you can sign up for make using my link in the description. Once you've done that, go and create what's called a scenario and you'll land in a section that looks just like this. And what we can do is go down to this plus button at the bottom here and we can actually just search for Facebook. And what you'll see is there is a whole heap of add-ons to connect to different platforms. And what we're using is the Facebook leads ad. And then I'm just using the new lead instant asset triggers when a new lead is created. And so what this means is that every time a new lead submits their information through our ad, this automation will trigger automatically. We don't have to run it at a certain time. This automation will only run when the lead comes through. Make sure to click on the module and actually log into your Facebook account. It will automatically see all of your ads manager profiles. Just select that and it will be ready to go. You will also have to select the Facebook ads form, and you can do that. It will give you a drop down with all of your Facebook ads form. If you've got multiple, just select the right one and it will just trigger based on that. And then what we're using is the Vapi create an outbound phone call module. We can get this by going to the plus button once again and searching for Vapi, using the Vapi verified module, and then just selecting the create an outbound phone call. And once you've connected those two modules together, we just need to fill out some information on the Vapi outbound phone call module. So the first value that we need to get is the assistant ID, and we can get this by going to Vapi and then just looking at the top here, and we'll see that there is an assistant ID that we can just directly copy and paste into the top here. The next field is the assistant. We don't need to put anything in this because this is for creating a brand new assistant within Make here, but we don't need to do that. The next field is the customer ID, and we don't need to fill anything in there either. The next field is the customer phone number. So this is the phone number that we're sending the call to. So in this case, we're going to click on the box here and we're just going to find the phone number value that comes from the Facebook lead. And then we're just going to drag it in there. Same with the customer name. It's just using the customer name that has come from Facebook. So this Facebook module will send us all of the information so we can use it on the Vapi module. And then lastly, we've got the phone number ID. To get the phone number ID, we have to go back to Vapi and then go to our platform and then go to phone numbers. And then you just need to make sure that you've gone ahead and set up a phone number here on Vapi. You can do that by either buying a number through Vapi for $2 a month, or you can go ahead and connect Twilio or Vonage through this. Once you've done that, you can see all of your numbers that have been imported on Vapi. And all we need to do is click up here. We can see this phone number ID, click copy, go back to our Vapi module and paste that at the bottom here. And so once you've done that for this make automation, you're actually completely done. It's a really simple setup where it just takes the new lead. It then sends this to a create an outbound phone call Vapi module, triggers this assistant to then call that phone number with the particular prompt that you've set it to do, and you're done. Now, ideally, you would connect this to an actual appointment booking function. So you can actually start to book appointments on the system. And you can do that by using my Google Calendar Vapi integration. So you can get access to this template by signing up to my free school community, which is linked below. I've also got another video covering this entire template, which you can click in the top right. And so what you need to do is take that make template, go to your Vapi assistant and create a new function for a booking. In this case, I've already created that, but this booking function will essentially trigger this make automation to run. And it's going to be capturing the name and the date and time they'd like to book for. Restaurants can receive more than 60 calls every single day, both from people making reservations and those asking general inquiries about their services. This can be quite a lot of work for the business owner or the worker on shift. Thankfully, we now have AI phone systems that can automatically take phone calls and respond quickly with a realistic sounding voice. Here's a quick demo.
Hey, welcome to City Dining. How can we help you?
Hi, I'd like to book in for tomorrow at 2 p.m.
Sure. What is your name, please?
John.
Hold on a sec. Great. We've booked you in for tomorrow at 2 p.m.
This system was able to talk naturally with the caller, understand their requirements, and book them in for a later time. This will save restaurants time and headaches trying to make these calls themselves. My name is Brendan and I run Inflate AI, where my team and I help businesses integrate the latest AI solutions. In this video, I'll build an AI phone system that converses with the caller, helps them understand a menu, and books reservations for a restaurant from scratch. And by the end of this video, I'll show you how to get access to everything I will create in this video for free. So jumping right into it, this right here is Vapi.ai. So Vapi.ai is going to be the main platform that we're going to be using to build this AI voice assistant. So once you've created an account and you've landed on this page, what we're going to do is go ahead and click Create Assistant. Once we've done this, we're going to go ahead and give it a name. Once we've given it a name, we're just going to click on Blank Template. We're not going to use any of their pre-created templates, and we're just going to click Create Assistant. Once you've done that, you're going to land on a page that looks like this, and these are our assistant settings. This is the main dashboard that we're going to use to put together and build our assistant. If you haven't used the Vapi platform or any AI phone system before, I would recommend you go ahead and watch my 2-hour tutorial covering everything there is to know about AI phone callers, which you can see in the top right. But to give you a quick rundown, the way this works is that we give it instructions through prompts. The AI will follow these instructions and that shapes its personality. It shapes exactly what its intentions are. And that's how we're able to build a restaurant booking system. So the first thing that we can go ahead and do for our assistant is actually input a first message. So when we call this assistant, we're going to get a first message that pops up when we actually call it. So when we call it, it's not just going to say nothing. It's going to have to say something. It's going to wait for our response, and then we can obviously continue the conversation. So for example, something we could say is, hey, welcome to City Dining. How can we help you? And once it's read that message, it's just going to wait for us to then say something. The next option we have is the system prompt. And this is the main prompt, the main instruction set that we're going to be giving to the assistant to base its entire personality and its entire system off. So the first thing I'm going to do is actually delete the system prompt that is already here. And now I've gone ahead and pasted in a system prompt template that I like to use to structure my prompts around. This prompt template gives us all the basics we need to instruct the assistant to do exactly what we want it to. So for example, we could say you are John, a receptionist at City Dining. You are a friendly assistant who helps customers. Then next we have the task, and this is what they actually do. So the purpose of the call and what they're meant to actually help the customer with. So in this case, I've said your task is to help answer any questions the customer has and book them into a reservation if requested. Then next we have the specifics. So this is how the assistant actually does that task that we previously mentioned. So for example, I've said, please refer to the menu information provided for any questions on our menu. If they request to make a reservation, please capture their name and when they would like to book for, then run the booking function. So we're going to include this menu information later on in the prompt, and we're also going to set up this booking function later in the video. Then for the next part of this prompt, we want to give it a bit more information about the actual business. So the more context we give it about its existence, why it exists, what the business does, the better it will be and the more consistent it will be in doing exactly what we want it to do. So in this case, I've said City Dining is a luxurious and expensive restaurant that provides high-end services with world-class food. We've been operating for over 30 years. Then next, what we do, so just a bit more general information about the exact business. So for example, I've said we are a restaurant that provides world-class food. It's not really needed in this case because it's pretty obvious what the business does, but obviously more complex business structures might need a bit more detail as to exactly what the business provides. Then the next part of our prompt is the examples, and this is one of the most important parts of our prompt because the AI caller really refers to the examples for how it should respond. Now, before I jump into creating the examples, I'm actually going to create another tab for the menu. And so this menu is obviously going to include all of the food items that we want in our menu. Now, Vapi also has a knowledge base where we can upload files for the assistant to refer to. Now, this is a really great feature for uploading large amounts of information and having it refer to those bits of information. Now, unfortunately, I found the Vapi knowledge base to not be the most reliable knowledge base that there is, and I've tended to move the information into the actual prompt for it to do it a bit better. And for this example, the menu shouldn't be too long, so it should be pretty easy just to put in the prompt. So to create this menu, I've just gone over to ChatGPT and I'm going to say, create a menu for City Dining, a high-end restaurant. Please provide 10 food items in a list. So here we go. I've just imported the menu from the ChatGPT response, and we've got a wide variety of starters, desserts, and main courses. One thing I will modify about this is I'm actually going to add some markdown formatting to each starter, main course, and dessert options. So we can do that by adding 2 hashtags to the start, and I might just add a column there as well. And the reason we do this is that the markdown formatting is actually seen by the OpenAI models, and this is a really good way to actually structure our data, so it gets a bit more of a sense as to what the data is, what refers to what, and it just makes our answers a lot more accurate. So now I've gone ahead and created an example using some of the menu items to really give the AI a bit more context as to exactly how it should be using the information to create the conversation. So for the example, I've said user, and the user is referring to the caller, so the customer, that's saying, hi, have you got any vegetarian meals? And then you is referring to the assistant. So yes, we have the vegetarian. Can't really say that, not sure how to. And then we have you, so that's referring to the assistant, and that's saying, yes, we have the vegetarian, whatever this meal says. And then we've got the user that's saying, great, can I book in for tomorrow night, 10 p.m? And then we're saying, sure, what was your name? Because we're making sure that we do capture the name every time, like we said previously in our task. And then of course, the user says their name. And then what we do is we say, run the booking function. So obviously the prompt understands what functions are. We can just type this naturally and say, run the booking function. Then below this, I'm saying if the returned data confirms the booking, then continue on. If it's continue on, then we're saying, great, we've booked you in for tomorrow at 10 p.m. See you soon. Thank you. So this is a really basic example that we're using for our conversations. And now I'm going to test if this thing actually works. I'm just going to ask it about some of the menu items to see if it actually knows what I'm talking about. I have quickly swapped over the OpenAI model to GPT-4o from the default GPT-3.5. GPT-4o is a much better model, and if you're going to be referring to information in the prompt or in a knowledge base, it is better to use a better model because you really want it to know exactly what it's looking for. The only downside of this model compared to 3.5 is that the latency is slightly increased, but you really can't tell a difference, and you should value the actual responses more than the latency.
Hey, welcome to City Dining. How can we help you?
Hi, have you got any truffle meals?
Yes, we have a delicious truffle mushroom soup. It's a velvety blend of wild mushrooms and black truffle, finished with a drizzle of truffle-oiled oat wood. You like to know more about it?
Have you got any lobster?
Yes, we have lobster thermidor. It's lobster meat cooked in a creamy mustard and cognac sauce, served in the shell with a side of wild rice. Would you like to know more or perhaps make a reservation?
So as you can see, that's already working great. It's able to refer to the menu items, and even then it's also started to ask us if we wanted to book in a reservation, just like we stated in the specifics of our assistant prompt. Now for the final part of our assistant, we want to be able to make those reservations that the customer has inquired about, and we can do that using a Vapi function. So just go over to the functions tab right here and you'll see a section called tools. What we need to do is go to the select tools button and click create new tool, then just hit new tool. We're going to be using a make.com scenario that books into Google Calendar for these reservations. Then select the make option in the middle. We've got a make automation that we're going to be using and connecting to Vapi to run our booking reservations. This right here is a booking automation that takes a Vapi request and turns it into a Google Calendar booking. I do have a previous video that covers more about exactly how to build this from scratch, which you can see in the top right. But if you want to skip all that, you can get access to this template by going into my school community below, and you can get this template for completely free. If you would like to connect this to something that isn't Google Calendar, that is very possible as well. You do just need to swap out these modules with the platform you're looking to send the information to. And if you aren't familiar with Make already, Make is an automations platform that connects with thousands of different applications. So it is likely that the platform that you're looking to make the bookings into is supported with Make.com. So to connect this, import the template and then go all the way to the first webhook module. Then set up this webhook by clicking add and giving it a name. It will then automatically generate this URL right here. And we're just going to click copy address to clipboard. Then we're going to come back to Vapi here and we're just going to paste that webhook URL right here. Then click next. Then next, we need to input all of the values that we want to capture from the customer to send in our booking appointments. So in this case, what we're looking for is the name of the customer looking to make the booking and exactly when they would like to make the booking. So for our first property, we're just going to say customer name, and we're going to say this is the name of the customer, and we're going to hit save. And then we're going to create a secondary property by clicking that box and just by typing booking time. And this is the time the user would like to book. Save. And then lastly, we just need to define the function as a whole. So what it does in general, and that's just going to be booking reservations. So I've just simply named it booking. And for the description, I'm just going to say when the user would like to make a booking. Then just hit create and it is all complete. We can now go back to our assistant, go to the functions, go to select tools and select the booking function, and then just make sure to hit publish. Then I'm going to go back to the make.com scenario and hit run once. I'm going to go back to Vapi and we're going to give it a call.
Hey, welcome to City Dining. How can we help you?
Hi, I'd like to book in for tomorrow at 2 p.m.
Sure. What is your name, please?
John.
Hold on a sec. Great. We've booked you in for tomorrow at 2 p.m. See you soon, John.
So this booking automation has just ran, and you can see here it has ran fully through for the booking, but this actually didn't work because I forgot to add a note right here that says, please do not format the booking time. The booking time was formatted improperly when it came through from Vapi. We didn't want it to be formatted in any time format because we've already got a ChatGPT step to do that for us. So we didn't actually need it to do that. So we're going to try it again by just adding, please do not format the booking time into our note section.
Hey, welcome to City Dining. How can we help you?
Hey, I'd like to make a reservation for tomorrow at 1 p.m.
Sure. What name should I use for the reservation?
John Smith.
One moment. Great. We've booked you in for tomorrow at 1 p.m., John Smith. Looking forward to seeing you soon.
And there we go. It's now booked us in for 1 p.m. As you can see here, start date for tomorrow 1 p.m. So that has perfectly worked. And there you go. One thing you may also need to add, do not format this into the actual tool description for the booking, because the way our make setup is done, we don't want it formatted in any way that the AI might think we want it to. So just say, do not format this, and it should be more accurate. Imagine you have a lead list of 5,000 contacts, and the only way to get through it is to manually call every single phone number one by one. You'll be stuck trying to call these numbers for days and become increasingly tired and sick of doing it. Luckily, we now have advanced AI phone agents that can automatically call hundreds of leads an hour with no loss in quality, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, and almost no business owners even know about this. Traditional marketing methods will not be able to compete with this, and you'll see your business rapidly fall to your AI-driven competitors. To solve this, I'll show you how to build, deploy, and test a lead generating AI phone system completely from scratch. I've built and deployed several AI phone systems, both outbound and inbound, for businesses in many different industries, including pressure washing, irrigation, real estate, and more. The best part is that this can be done quickly using beginner-friendly, no-code tools. You can upload a list of leads into a Google Sheet, have the system automatically detect the new contact, call them, and then provide a lead report once a call is concluded. I'll also show you how to build an agent that can sell without a script and handle any question a prospect may ask. By the end of this video, you will become an expert in AI outbound calls and will have access to all the templates created in this video. Please note that direct business to consumer calling is only allowed if the prospect consents to receive the AI call. Otherwise, B2B calling is completely fine. So this right here is the outbound B2B AI caller dashboard that we're going to be building. This right here is just Google Sheets. So it's really simple to get set up, and Google Sheets is obviously free. All this does is we can input a phone number that we want to call in the phone number list right here. This is then going to produce a call ID from our AI caller system, in which we're going to be using Vapi.ai to run our AI phone calls. Once the phone call is made to the person, it is then going to tell us whether or not that phone has now been picked up or it hasn't been picked up. Once that's been picked up, we're going to configure a function in our Vapi assistant. If you have used Vapi before, you'll know what that is. What we're going to be able to do is check if they're actually interested in the services that we're offering. So we're going to be able to use this platform to scale 100, 200 calls, and we're going to be able to use this interest column to see which of these people are interested in our services. And then any sales team can use this to understand the amount of people that are interested in the services, and then individually call those people to then make the final sale. And then lastly, in our column, we have the summary, and this is just an AI generated summary of the transcript from our call. So this is something that is automatically generated from the Vapi platform that we're just going to send into our dashboard. So we've got a good range of data that we can look at to monitor our outbound calls. So to go ahead and quickly demo this, I can just go ahead and type in my phone number right here. You'll see that the call ID has now populated with a Vapi call ID. And then also you'll see that I'm now receiving a phone call. I'm going to go ahead and pick this up.
Hi, is this Brendan?
Yes, it is.
Hi, Brendan. It looks like you were interested in an iPad. Is that correct?
Yeah, I'm interested in the iPad for sure.
Hold on a sec. Great. Did you have any questions, or would you like me to go through the purchase process?
So there you go. You can see that it was obviously able to call me automatically and then ask me that particular question. So it was a pretty basic system there, but it asked us if we were interested. I said yes, and you could see there it automatically populated with the interested field. So we now know that this particular individual with this phone number was interested, and you can see there just a bit of a delay, but it did recognize that the phone was obviously picked up. And if it wasn't picked up, it would have said no as well. So this right here is Make.com, and Make.com is the automations platform that we're going to be using to connect Vapi to Google Sheets. And we're going to have this entire system run for us. We won't need to do any manual work in terms of running these outbound calls. Now, what you see here are 3 individual automations that are required for this system to work. First automation is the interested status. So on Vapi, if you are familiar with how it works, we're going to be running a function to recognize whether or not they were interested in our product. So as you saw on the call there, when I said I was interested, it said, hang on a sec. That's when it was running this automation. And then it went ahead and obviously registered that information on our Google Sheet. The next automation we're going to be setting up is the actual call system. So when we go to our Google Sheet, we input the phone number in the phone numbers field, and we go to this automation, which automatically runs when a new phone number is added. It then sends a call from Vapi and then records that call ID, as we can see on the sheet here. And then lastly, we've got an automation for the pickup status. So just recognizing whether or not the call was picked up or wasn't picked up. We've got an automation to track that as well. So the first thing that I'm going to be setting up is the Vapi assistant. This is obviously the main thing that connects to all of our automations to run our calls. I'm not going to build a super advanced system. This is just going to cover most of the basics so that we can obviously showcase the power of the call dashboard rather than the actual assistant. If you did want to learn more about this Vapi platform, I do have a 2-hour tutorial where I cover pretty much everything there is to know about the Vapi platform. So I do recommend checking that video out and then coming back and following this video. So obviously go ahead and create an account on Vapi. Once you've done that, you'll see that there's a create assistant button. What we're going to do is click create assistant. It's going to ask us for an assistant name. I'm just going to call this B2B outbound. I'm going to click on blank template and click create assistant. Once you've done that, we're going to land on a pretty fresh page here where there's pretty much nothing configured. And we're going to use this to build our entire assistant from. The first thing that I'm going to change on our new assistant is actually the model. I'm just going to swap this over to GPT-4o. I'd say that this is the best all-round model for our voice assistants. The reason being is because it is quite a bit smarter than GPT-3.5. The next thing I'll change is the first message. So I'm just going to say, hi, is this Brendan? I'm then just going to go ahead and remove this prompt that's given to us automatically. Now I'm just going to go ahead and actually paste in this prompt that I've created earlier, which you can get access to in my school community down below. And this is just a really basic prompt. This is the exact same one I used in the demo at the start of the video. And this is essentially just a fake Apple store that's trying to sell us an iPad. And we're just saying yes or no if we're interested in buying that iPad. And then based on that condition, it'll run that interested function. So really rudimentary, really basic in terms of getting that function ran and as an assistant overall. Obviously, if you're building this for your own business, you'd want to really add more to this prompt. You'd add more to the details of the actual business. Obviously, I'm assuming that the model itself knows exactly what the Apple company is. Obviously, in your case, it wouldn't. So you'd want to obviously beef this up, make it a bit more detailed as to exactly the products you sell and the business that you run. So it obviously operates a lot better. So the first thing that I've got in my prompt is the role. I'm just saying who they are. So this is talking to the assistant. Of course, in our instructions, we are talking to the AI assistant like it's a person. So I'm just saying you are an experienced salesperson for the technology company Apple. Your role is to help customers purchase our products. Next, we've got the task, so what they actually do, the assistant, what it actually does. Your task is to converse with the customer, find their needs, solve their pain points, and sell them our products. Then we've got the specifics, so how they actually do this task. You are a highly intelligent salesperson. You will converse with the customer about the specifications of our products. You must closely follow the scripts provided. And these specifics are very important to my career. Please follow these. Your ability to closely follow the script is integral to the business's bottom line. Adding in these sort of stricter sentences where I'm saying that this is an integral part of the business's bottom line, is a really good way to get the assistant to strictly follow certain things that you want it to. In this case, I want it to really follow the script and obviously cover all of these specifics because these are important facts to make the assistant the way we want it to. So this is just a really good tip to add in sort of strict sentences to really force it to understand the importance of different parts of your prompt. The next part is context. So this is just giving the assistant more context about the business that we run. Like I said earlier, it probably already knows what Apple is from the actual AI model itself. So in your case, for your business, you'd want to give it a bit more detail about what you do so it has a bit more knowledge and intelligence about your products. Within the context, I've got two different sections for the business and what we do. So the business, we are Apple Inc. We provide technology products for the world. And what we do, we help people connect digitally with world-class devices. Just made this all up, but it should understand exactly what we're talking about. Then next, we've got the examples. So this is really where we want to put in examples of the dialogue and the script we want it to say. This is a really important part because this really shapes exactly what it says and how it works and how it operates. It's really just putting in a script that you want it to follow along with, covering all the main points and data that you want to capture, and then obviously leaving it like that. It's really just making sure to capture all of the main points in your script and capture all of the data that you're looking for. Obviously, in our case, I really only set this up to capture whether or not this person's interested in an iPad or not, yes or no, and that's pretty much done for our call. But obviously, if you're running a business or selling services that have multiple different sort of call flows, whether one interest level takes you down a different question path than another to do qualification, that is something that you're going to need quite a more extensive script for. Obviously, this is not to that advanced level, but this is just a really basic, rudimentary way to get this done. And then in the notes, we've just given it some general instructions to follow along with. If the customer is interested, you must run the get interest level function. So I'll show you that function in a minute, but this is critical for getting the interest level to pop up in our call dashboard. And then next, we've got please ensure you follow the script closely. So if you wanted to follow that script, just reinforcing it to make sure that it understands that this is an important part of our script. And then we've got a similar thing just below it. If a customer asks a question deviating from the script, answer the question accurately, then flow back into the script. Once again, this is just a really light prompt where I've only given a couple of sentences to really back up and understand the importance of different parts of the script. But the more you test it, the more you realize that it isn't 100% accurate every single time. And you're going to have to add more into the notes and add more into the context for it to continually understand what's important, what's not important, to really shape an accurate and reliable assistant over time. So once again, you can get access to this script and everything that I create in this video within my school community down below. Once you've got this all set up, just hit publish. The next thing that I'm going to change, I'm going to go to the voice module here and I'm going to change this over to ElevenLabs. Cartesia or ElevenLabs work. PlayHT is really good as well. This isn't really critical. You can just play around with the different options and find out which one you think sounds the best. So once that's all set up, we're going to start building our first automation in make.com, which is going to be getting the interest level from the user live during the call. So to do this, we're going to be creating a tool on our Vapi assistant. So if I click into select tools here, you'll see that I've already got the get interest level tool, but I'm going to be creating a new tool that is going to do the same thing. So just click into tools and then click new tool. We're then going to click into make.com because it's going to be a make.com automation. And then just below this, you'll see that it wants a server URL, which is a webhook URL from your make.com scenario. So now you'll need to sign up for a make.com account. And once you've got this up and running, go to create a new scenario. Once you've done that, you're going to land on this page right here. And all we're going to need to do is click webhook, custom webhook. And we're going to be using this webhook in our Vapi function. Just click add. I'm going to give this a random name, call it the Outbound Vapi. You can name it whatever you like. It doesn't really make a difference. Click copy address to clipboard, go back to Vapi and paste the webhook URL in here and hit save. Then hit next. And then it's going to say build your schema. Define your schema, which the LLM should generate. So all we need to do here is just talk about the actual bit of data that we want to capture from the user. So in this case, we want to know either yes or no. Do they want, or are they interested in our products? So I'm just going to say interest level, and then I'll say either yes/no the user if the user is interested in our product. One thing we can do is swap this over to the Boolean function, which is either a true or false value. In this case, I'm just going to select the string because I found some errors using the Boolean down the road. So I'm just going to use this string function and just type either yes, no, and then the AI will automatically figure out whether or not to put yes or no every single time. So it's smart enough to do that itself. Just hit save and then hit next. And then we just need to say broadly what this tool is for. So in this case, we're going to be naming it the same name that we named it in the prompt. So that was get interest level, and then description, just a broad description. This determines if the user is interested in our product or not. And then we just hit create. Once that's created, we can go back to our assistant, go down to select tools and hit get interest level. And now we'll come back to make.com. So once that is all set up, we can just click OK. And that is now connected. So one thing we can do is now test if this thing actually works. So I'm just going to go ahead and hit save, and this should save our scenario. I'll turn on scheduling, so this can be ran at any point in time. I'm now going to quickly hit run once. This is just going to start loading until it receives some data. I'll then click talk to assistant.
Hi, is this Brendan?
Yes, it is.
Hi, Brendan. It looks like you are interested in an iPad. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's correct.
Great. Did you have any questions, or would you like me to go through the purchase process?
No, that's it. I'm just interested in buying it.
This'll just take a sec. Excellent. Let's proceed with the purchase process.
So there you go. As you can see, we were able to run through that function when the tool was called, and we can just click into here, click into function, click into arguments, interest level, yes. So you can see there, either yes or no will pop up. If we call it again and say no, we're not interested, it'll say no. And then we can just use this to populate our call dashboard. So now we'll start to create our call dashboard. I've just gone to Google Sheets and created a brand new spreadsheet. I'll just give this a name called Outbound Vapi Demo. So the first column that we're going to use is obviously the phone number. So we just type phone number. Next column is going to be whether or not the phone call was actually picked up or not. Obviously you can customize this however you'd like, but this is just how I had it set up. Then we want to know whether or not they were actually interested in the product that we're selling. Once again, obviously, if you don't want to capture just the interest level, you want to capture maybe their name or whatever, you can just put in interest level right there. And then we're going to put in the call ID. And this call ID is going to be used as the sort of unique identifier for every single call. So it knows exactly who the call is coming from. So when we actually assign some of our other automations, we can use the call ID for this. And then lastly, we're going to use the summary. So we're just going to be using the summary of the transcript that Vapi creates automatically. So we can just come in here and get a quick idea of exactly how the call went, whether it went okay or badly. We can get that from the summary. And then I'm going to quickly just turn this into nice formatting so it's clear and understandable. Now back on this automation for our interest level, we're just going to give this a name. Call it the interest level Vapi. Name it anything you'd like, just for you to see. And once it's done, we are going to be coming back to this automation later on. Now we're going to move on to some of the other automations, and we are going to come back to this automation so we can complete it. We can't obviously assign the interest level for every single call if we haven't made the calls yet. We need to set up the other automations first. So to do this, click create new scenario once again. And what we're building is the B2B outbound call system. So the actual main automation that's going to be looking at the phone numbers that are populated. And this is going to look at our phone number column, and it's going to look at any new value that is added into that column. And it's going to run our automation every time that happens. So the module we want to use is the perform a function module. It's then going to prompt us to create a webhook, and then we can give this a name. I can just leave it as my function webhook. And once we've done that, it's very similar to the other webhook. We can just click copy address to clipboard and hit OK. And now we have to come back to our Google Sheet dashboard right here. We need to actually add an extension to our Google Sheets dashboard. So just click on extensions. And what we're looking for is the make for Google Sheets. So I've already got this installed, but to install it, just click on add-ons, get add-ons. And there's an already created make.com add-on for Google Sheets. So you can just type in make at the top here, and you'll see that make comes up as a integration directly into Google Sheets. So just click install, and then this is going to allow us to connect our automation to our Google Sheet dashboard. So once you've got that installed, you'll see make for Google Sheets. Just click on settings. Once you've clicked on that, you're going to see this big thing pop up on the right-hand side. And this is going to be where we input our webhook URL. So make sure that this is copied from make.com. Go and paste in the webhook URL here and paste in the webhook URL at the bottom as well. And then we want to make sure that it's only looking at the phone number column right here. So when we add values into the other parts of our dashboard, it's not going to trigger our automation as well. So we can just change this to say sheet 1, because this is the sheet name that we're using. Obviously, if the name's different, it should be a different name. And then the range is just going to be A1 to A whatever. So we can just say 1,000 and it'll look at the 1,000 rows right here, or we can increase this to 10,000 or whatever, but just making sure that you're capturing a specific set of data in the dashboard. So make sure to hit save and you'll see settings saved successfully, and just hit OK. If it didn't work, you need to make sure that your default Google account is the one that you're using. So this is sort of the main Google account in your browser. If you use any of these secondary accounts, it might not work. So just make sure to follow that. So to test this out, we can just click run once, and then we can just go here, type 123 or really anything, and this should populate with that value. And so there you go. The value has now populated automatically from just entering it into our sheet here. And then you can see here, value 123, that's popped through. And now we can obviously use this for running the phone call from. So the next part of our automation is going to be using the Vapi module on Make to create an outbound phone call. So this is pretty simple to set up. All we need to do is go back to Vapi and just get a couple of values. So the one value that we need is our assistant ID. So just getting the assistant ID from the particular assistant that you want to connect for the outbound calls. So in this case, for the one that I just created, there's a copy button at the top. Come here and just paste it into the assistant ID tab. And then at the bottom, we want the phone number ID. So I just go to my phone numbers tab on Vapi. You do need to make sure that you have imported a number from either Twilio or Vonage, and make sure that that is working on your account. Once again, if you want to set that up, you can watch my other 2-hour tutorial on Vapi, which will show you everything there is to know. But it's a pretty simple setup to just import it from Twilio. But all you need to do is just copy the phone number ID at the top. So pretty similar to the assistant ID, we've just got a phone number ID, and just paste that in the bottom. So I've just gone ahead and ran the automation once again from our Google Sheets. And what we should get here is the value. Click into here, it obviously ran into an error because we haven't put in any phone number. What I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna put in a plus here, because we wanna actually have it understand the area code. And if you put a plus into Google Sheets, it's gonna think we're doing addition. So I'm just putting in a plus there. And then we wanna grab that value. So in this case, value, you can drag and drop, put the value in there and click OK. To test that this thing actually works, we can right click and just run this module. So it's only gonna be running our phone call, and you can just type in your phone number and hit OK. And as you can see there, it's now green. And if I check my phone, we are now receiving a phone call from our assistant that we just inputted all of the values into just there. And now lastly, the only thing we need left for this automation is to update that particular row with the call ID. So we can do this pretty simply by clicking on the plus button, going to Google Sheets and scrolling down to the update a cell. Make sure to connect to your Google account. In this case, we don't need to connect it through the extension. We can just connect this through our actual login. Then just make sure to connect your actual spreadsheet ID, so Outbound Vapi demo, and then select the actual sheet name. And then we just want to input the cell value. In this case, the call ID is in the D column. Obviously, if yours is in a different column, you're going to need to use the different letter. But in this case, we're using the D column. So I'm just going to put in the letter D. And then from our Google Sheets variables here, we want to use the row end value, which just tells us the exact row in this entire spreadsheet that we are going to be using to populate the call ID into. So whether it was a 10 or 11, it'll know the difference between the two. And then in the value tab right here, we just want to grab the call ID, which is the one all the way at the top. You can drag and drop and click OK. So once you've done that, just go down to the save button right here. So now this should be ready to go. We'll just click on run once, wait for new data, and then we're just going to input our phone number into the dashboard. It should get automatically picked up by Google Sheets. It should then use that value on Vapi. There we go. And now it should record that data right here in the call ID. Check my phone, and we can see here that we are receiving a call from the dashboard directly. So it has now worked. We can now input any number we'd like into our phone number field right here, and it will start to call it using this automation. So now that it is done, this automation at the top here is completely done. It'll now call any number that we add into our dashboard. It will give us a call ID and call them up, and that is ready to go. We can now go back to our interest level automation here, and we can now use the values that are populated in our spreadsheet for the interest level automation to work. So the first module we're going to be using is a Google Sheets search rows. So this module is going to be used to actually search for the particular call ID in our call dashboard to then assign the interest level to that particular row in the data. So make sure to connect your Google account, and then make sure to select the exact spreadsheet as well as sheet name. Once this is all populated, we just need to add in a filter. And this is just looking at the call ID, which is our D column. And we're going to be saying is this equal to the call ID from the call that comes through? So we can get this by just clicking in the box. We'll see this red values pop up as long as we have ran this at least once. Then we can see the call tab here and call ID. We can just drag that in. And so now it's saying if the call ID is equal to this particular call ID that has come through in the call, we now know the exact row in which we want to assign the interest level to. So just click OK. The next module we're using is the update a cell because we want to now update the cell with that particular interest level. We can just use the search bar, update a cell. Once again, making sure to select the spreadsheet ID and sheet name. And now we just need to enter the specific cell that we want to put this data into. In our case, the interest level is in the C column. So we want to be using the C cell. And now we just need the row number. So just click into the cell. You'll see that we've got a bunch of values coming from the previous step, number 2, and we can just click on row number, and now row number will get put alongside C. So it'll get C, whatever row number the call ID was found in, and now we can go ahead and put in the interest level right here. And we can get this interest level by clicking into value, going down and looking at the webhooks, clicking into tool calls, function, arguments, and we'll get interest level right here. We can drag that in once again, and this will either be yes or no. Was the person actually interested in buying our product? And this will be registered into our call dashboard automatically using this automation. So we can test this out by clicking run once at the bottom, go to our dashboard and just put in our phone number. Our first automation has worked. The call ID is now populated right here. We can go back here, and if I pick up the call that's coming through.
Hi, is this Brendan?
Yes, it is.
Hi, Brendan. It looks like you were interested in an iPad. Is that correct?
Yeah, definitely. I'm interested in the iPad.
Great. Did you have any questions, or would you like me to go through the purchase process?
No, I've got no questions. I'm ready to buy it right now.
Hold on a sec. Great, Brendan.
So there we go. The automations currently set up have all worked. We were able to input the phone number, register the call automatically, and you can see there the function ran to check the interest level, and then obviously just updated the fields. It understood the particular row in which the call ID was associated with. In this case, it was the first row or the second row. And then it right here says interested, yes, because I said I was interested in buying at that stage on the call. And there you go. Now, lastly, we're just going to set up the automation to register the picked up status as either yes or no. Did they pick up or did they not? And we're also going to be using this to input the summary, which is a summary of the transcript that has occurred to help us just understand whether or not the call has gone well or not. So once again, just click create new scenario. Once you've done that, we're going to create a brand new webhook. So click custom webhook. Once again, give it a name. This name can be anything, but in this case, we're going to just call this the Vapi status. Once again, doesn't really matter. Then just click copy address to clipboard and hit OK. And now come back to Vapi. And what we want to do is go to the advanced section, scroll down until the server messages and server URL. So this server URL is the URL or the webhook from make.com. So just copy that, paste that in here. And now what's going to happen is that any sort of requests that happen with this assistant, so when the call is picked up, when the call is ended, when the call is either or not picked up at all, we're going to be able to get all of that data sent to this webhook and then transferred through this automation. So once the server URL is added in there, we just need to add a couple of things to the server messages. So just come to the server messages and we just need to turn on function call as well as end of call report. And these are the only two messages that we want to be sending to our automation. And just make sure to hit publish. So coming back to our automation, I'll just give this a name once again. This is just for your knowledge, but this is the pickup status and summary. And to test this, we're just going to hit the save button. We'll turn on the scheduling and we can just hit run once. And we can test this by just going into the Vapi browser and just clicking talk with assistant. And this will automatically get populated with that server message if it's working.
Hi, is this Brendan?
We can just go ahead and hang up the call. We don't need to even talk with it. The data should come through on our webhook. So there we go. We've got an end of call report that has come through on this webhook right after the call was ended. And so we're going to be using this to understand whether or not the call was picked up or it wasn't. So you'll see that that's why there was a little bit of a delay on whether or not the call was picked up or not, because it's only going to know that as soon as the call has ended. But this will give us enough time to understand, yes, the call was picked up, or no, the call wasn't picked up, and whatever we want to do with that information from there. So the next module I'm going to be using is a router. A router is essentially controlling two different paths the automation can go down. In this case, we want two different paths because two different types of information can come from this webhook. And those two paths are whether or not the call was either picked up or the call wasn't actually answered whatsoever. And we can determine these two by using this router. So if I click into the first path here, what we can do is label this as picked up. And this is going to be how we can determine which calls were picked up or weren't picked up. So all we need to do is click on this first tab right here and go down to the ended reason. If we click on this, you'll see that it says here, customer ended the call. So in this case, I did pick up the call. And so that's why it says customer ended call, because I also ended the call. And so we can use this to understand, okay, the customer actually ended the call. So just below this, we can type customer ended call, and then we can swap this to contains. Then just click OK. Once you've done that, just click on the yes button right here. This yes is setting up as a fallback. There is another way that the customer can still pick up and end the call, which is when the call is actually ended by Vapi itself, or the actual assistant ends the call. So it wouldn't be the customer that ended the call, it would be the actual AI that ends the call. So we're using this as the fallback, as that is the only other option that can come through. So it will run down that path if the customer does pick up the phone and ends the call. By the way, just click that and that will work. Then on the other path, we just click here and type ended. Once again, this is just for our knowledge, but this is going to be the path when the call is actually not picked up at all. Once again, using the same data ended reason, and we're just going to type in customer did not answer. So now we've got our two different paths to go down depending on whether or not the call was obviously picked up or the call wasn't picked up and it ended immediately. The next module we want to use is just the Google Sheets search rows. This is going to be used to find the call ID, to find the exact row where we want to input this data. So making sure to connect your spreadsheet and the sheet name exactly, coming down to filter and clicking call ID. Then we want to swap equal to over to contains. And then we just want to put in the call ID value from our call. Just click on call ID, drag and drop, and now it's looking at the right value. The next module we want to use is update a cell. We obviously want to update the cell with the value. And before we continue to this module, we just want to add in a filter that actually checks that this actually found a row in the first place. If it didn't, it's going to cause an error down the road. We just want to make sure that this found a row of data, or essentially a call. If it didn't find a call, then there's obviously an issue that's occurred before this. So all we need to do is click in here, then just search for the row number, drag and drop the row number into here, and then just swap this from equal to exists. And I can just label this continue. So now making sure you've populated the next module with all the right fields, then go down to the cell right here. And what we're going to do is obviously populate the picked up field right here, which is in the letter B. So we're just going to type in B, and then we want to get the row number. So we can just search that up, drag and drop, and then we go. And for the value, we're just going to say yes, because in this particular automation path that it's run down, this is saying that yes, the call was picked up. In the other path, we're going to say no. So it's going to be the same thing, but it's just going to say no. And now lastly, for this path, we're going to do the call summary. So we're going to connect this to here. It's going to be pretty similar. So we're just going to do update a cell. And in this case, we're going to be using the E cell. If I go back to here, that is in the E column right here for our summary. So we're just going to type in E, and then we're going to grab our row number because we want the right row, of course. And then for the value, we're just going to type in summary, and we're just going to grab the summary that's come from our message, and then just hit OK. And now for our ended path, we're going to do a pretty similar automation setup. So we're going to go to Google Sheets, type in search rows, making sure the correct sheet is selected once again. And we're just going to add in that exact same filter for the call ID, type in call ID, and then we're just going to type in call ID here, grabbing the right one, putting it in there, and just clicking OK. Now our next and final module is the update a cell module, the same as this. So we're just going to click on this, Google Sheets, update a cell. And this cell is once again just going to be B, and we're going to grab the row number. And now for the value, we're just going to type no, because no, in this case, they didn't pick up the call at all. And we can now record that as having not been picked up. And then once again, we just want to quickly add in the continue right here, which makes sure that we only continue if we actually found a row in the first place. So just clicking into here, going to row number, grabbing the row number, and then swapping this over to exists, which just looks if there's any value in the first place, hitting OK. And now this is completely done. So let's assess if this thing actually works. We're going to go ahead and put in my phone number into the dashboard once again. And now that it's gone through and we're now receiving the phone call, if I go ahead and pick up the phone call.
Hi, is this Brendan?
Yes, this is Brendan. That's right.
Hi, Brandon. It looks like you were interested in an iPad. Is that correct?
Yeah, I'm definitely interested in purchasing right now.
Give me a moment. Fantastic. Let's go ahead and complete your purchase.
So if I just go ahead and hang up that call, we can see everything else is obviously populated and worked properly there. But once that end of call report comes through, you'll see right away, yes, the call was picked up. And we've also got that call summary right here. Confirmed his interest in purchasing the iPad, intention to buy, and then whatever, got the summary come through, perfectly ran. And there we go. It's already set up, and we can pretty much add in any phone number you like into this column of the phone numbers. We can add in as many phone numbers as we want. It's going to automatically send the outbound call, and it's going to populate all of these fields with all of the relevant data to understand whether or not that person was interested, if the call was picked up in the first place, as well as a nice little summary to understand and give you a general consensus of how the assistant is actually performing. If you are an AI agency owner or business owner, chances are you're spending too much on your AI phone systems without realizing it. After building AI phone systems for 5 different industries, both inbound and outbound, I've identified 7 key areas where businesses often overspend. In this video, I'll break down each area from platform choice to optimizing your voice model and show you how to cut costs without sacrificing quality. If you don't take action, you're pretty much just wasting money. Even if you think you've tried everything, these industry tested strategies will open up new opportunities for savings. And as a special bonus, I'll also show you how to get $2,500 in OpenAI credits for free, so stick around into the end. The selection of AI models is a crucial area for cost optimization. For those familiar with OpenAI's offerings, you'll recognize GPT-4 as their most advanced and expensive option, and GPT-3.5 as the most budget-friendly and least complex model, yet still robust enough for applications like voice assistants. Between these two, there are models like GPT-4o and GPT-4o Mini, which strike a balance between cost efficiency and processing speed. Opting for GPT-3.5 is a pretty straightforward way to reduce expenses immediately for simpler tasks that don't require extensive processing. However, you'll want to consider the GPT-4 models for more complex prompts. The complexity and length of your prompt determine the processing load. More detailed prompts require more from the AI, requiring the capabilities of GPT-4 or GPT-4o. It's really beneficial to explore multiple providers. Platforms like Vapi support various AI models, and experimenting with each can help you identify the most cost-effective solution for your specific needs. Predicting which model will best suit your requirements is often challenging without directly testing it. Be mindful that the cost can also vary based on the number of tokens used in your prompt, a topic I will dive into later in the video. So this really shows the importance of testing across different models to ensure optimal performance and cost efficiency for your use case. A wide variety of AI phone platforms are now available, each with different pricing structures. While some platforms offer monthly subscriptions plus usage fees, others only charge based on the usage. To help you find the most cost-effective option, I've compared 7 different AI phone caller platforms in another video. I do recommend watching it to determine which platform suits your needs best. The right choice may vary depending on your requirements, but you can save money by selecting the appropriate platform. Additionally, in the video, I provide insights into the features and benefits of each platform, highlighting how they could fit different needs. The comparison will guide you in making an informed decision, ensuring that you manage the costs effectively and maximize the amount of value that you get from that chosen AI phone platform. The voice model is one of the most significant cost factors. It generates audio from AI model outputs, with ElevenLabs being one of the most established providers, known for its highly realistic voices. This is crucial for AI phone systems, as the voice quality directly impacts the user's perception of realism. For outbound systems where recipients might not be expecting a call, opting for the highest quality voice model is advisable to avoid dissatisfaction. Conversely, some flexibility in voice quality might be acceptable for inbound systems where the callers seek assistance and expect interaction with an AI. For us, it's best practice to actually inform the callers at the beginning of the interaction that they are speaking with an AI agent. This transparency has enhanced caller response and overall call efficiency without really any negative feedback from our extensive client testing. For those seeking cost-effective alternatives without compromising on the quality, Cartesia is a really great option. PlayHD is another popular choice, though its pricing is pretty similar to ElevenLabs. The market offers a variety of voice models, allowing for tailored choices based on specific needs. Now, since I'm in Australia, I prefer using some of the Australian accents, though options are pretty limited outside of ElevenLabs and PlayHD. However, for American accents, several high-quality options are available across different platforms. I do encourage trying various models to find the best balance between cost and quality. A lesser-known factor that many overlook is the impact of prompt length on the cost of using AI models. These models operate on a system where charges are based on the number of input and output tokens used. The more information fed into the system, the higher the cost, and similarly, the more information it outputs, the higher the expense. Limiting the amount of information supplied in the prompt is pretty advantageous in curbing these costs. One practical approach is employing a retrieval augmented generation system, also known as a knowledge base, where it just stores information in documents and only pulls the necessary data rather than loading all of that information simultaneously. Additionally, reducing the context and amount of unnecessary words in our prompts with the AI can further reduce costs. Several GPTs offer features that help condense text, effectively stripping out any extra details. Furthermore, distributing the load across multiple shorter prompts with different agents can also help manage costs, a strategy I'll dive into later in the video with multiple agents. An often overlooked cost when implementing AI phone systems is the potential for excessive call durations. Since callers can engage with these systems at any time, there is a risk of unintended extended usage and deliberate abuse, leading to increased operational costs. Not all users may may promptly end their calls, inadvertently allowing the AI to continue running and accumulating charges. Implementing a maximum call duration can be highly effective in mitigating this issue. By setting a call time limit such as 3 to 4 minutes or whatever aligns with the typical expected call lengths, any active calls would be automatically disconnected once the threshold is reached. This approach might seem quite strict, but it's necessary to prevent the minority of calls that extend from inflating costs disproportionately. This safeguard helps manage expenses and maintains the system's efficiency by preventing potential bottlenecks caused by these unnecessarily long calls. Leveraging multiple AI agents within a single call system efficiently expands your operational scope while maintaining cost effectiveness. Platforms like Vapi utilize squads to integrate various agents, each designed to handle specific service inquiries. Similarly, platforms as Bland, Retell, Synflow offer alternatives for distributing tasks among multiple agents. This approach distributes responses according to service type, distributing costs evenly across agents. The AI model can also assess whether a caller needs to be transferred to another agent, facilitating a seamless transition during the call. Enhancing this experience and changing the agent's voice can also create the impression of a more personalized service from multiple helpers, further optimizing the user experience. So let me know in the comments below if you would like to see a video covering a very cost-effective agent built using Vapi squads. In my recent video, I explored a lesser-known strategy involving third-party AI tools, specifically VoiceFlow. VoiceFlow is a user-friendly, low-code platform for developing AI agents. It features an intuitive canvas designer that simplifies building complex agent workflows. One of the most significant advantages of using VoiceFlow is its efficiency in optimizing tasks compared to traditional prompts. This can significantly reduce the token costs. So for those interested in a more cost-effective third-party solution, I suggest watching my previous video in which I delve deeper into how VoiceFlow achieves these savings. And now, as a bonus, I'll show you how to instantly gain $2,500 in value by accessing free OpenAI credits. Just visit the Microsoft Founders AI Startups program, which I've linked below. Microsoft offers these credits through their partnership with OpenAI to help new tech entrepreneurs accelerate their projects. I've personally redeemed these credits successfully. This is an efficient strategy to reduce overhead costs on your AI phone systems quite significantly. Once you've signed up and received your credits, generate an API key from your account and integrate this into your AI phone platform to start saving immediately. Two use cases for AI have recently exploded in popularity. These are AI chatbots and AI voice agents. These AI chatbots enable users to sort of talk to the website through a small bubble widget located somewhere on the website. And then this just assists users in learning more about that particular business, hopefully increasing conversions for that business. Whereas AI phone callers are just phone numbers that users can call and speak with to get assistance or get transferred to an actual human. This can assist users in getting access to information, qualifying leads, booking appointments, etc. And in this video, I will show you how to combine both of these systems into one super powerful website AI agent. This will allow you to speak with the website chatbot in a realistic and quick to respond voice, in addition to being able to use text to speak with the agent. Here's exactly what we'll be creating in this video.
Hello, this is Mary from Mary's Dental. How can I assist you today?
Hey Mary, how's it going? I was looking to see if I could book an appointment today.
Hey there, I'm doing great. Thanks for asking. Sure thing, I can help you with that. Can I get your full name, please?
To build this, I'll use an AI phone caller platform called Vapi.ai, and I will combine this with an AI agent customization platform called VoiceGlow. VoiceGlow will enable us to deploy our chatbot on a web page and customize it however we want. Vapi is where we will build the AI voice agent, configure its instructions, voice sound, and then connect it to a phone number. My name is Brendan, and I run Inflate AI, where my team and I help businesses integrate the latest AI solutions. Now to get started, I've gone ahead and signed up for a brand new account on Vapi, which you can go ahead and use my link in the description to do the same. So this right here is the Vapi.ai platform. If you haven't used it before, I'll quickly cover some of the key aspects of the platform. But if you do want to get a much more deep dive into this platform and what it's capable of, I do have a 2-hour tutorial covering everything to know about AI voice callers and specifically Vapi.ai as well. So go ahead and click the video in the top right corner. So I'll jump straight into building a quick demo assistant. And one really easy way we can do that is just by going to create assistant right here. And we can just use one of Vapi's pre-built templates. So this right here is an appointment setter. I'm just going to go ahead and select that and click create assistant. You can also go ahead and just use any of these, but I've just selected the appointment setter. So as soon as I've clicked that, it's gone ahead and given me this assistant right here, which is called Mary. And Mary has already got a prompt set up right here. It's also got all of the settings like the transcription set up. It's got the voice configuration set up. It's also got all of these settings in this configuration. And so I'm just going to go ahead and use this for the purpose of this tutorial. So this template that I just picked out here seems to be for a dental office. And it's not the most advanced prompt ever. It's just covering some of the key aspects for its personality and some of the things that it wants to capture. but that's not the purpose of this video. If you did want to understand how to prompt and build these systems in more detail, obviously I do have other videos you can watch for that. But this is going to be using a basic assistant and deploying this on a website. So you can go ahead and just click talk with Mary or talk with whatever template you chose, and it will start working right away.
Hello, this is Mary from Mary's Dental. How can I assist you today?
Hey Mary, I was looking if I could book an appointment today.
Hey there. Of course, I can help you with that. Can I get your full name, please?
So as you can see, it's already up and running, already working. So I recommend if you just want to get this built out really quickly, go ahead, select the template, maybe change some of this up if you'd like, and then we can go ahead and deploy this on the website. I've now jumped over to a platform called voiceglow.org, and voiceglow is a platform that is going to be connecting to Vapi to create our website bot that's going to allow us to talk to it via text, talk to it via speech, and have this all in a nice website chatbot that is customized to however we want it to look. So once again, you can go ahead and sign up for a VoiceGlow account using my link in the description. And once you've gone ahead and created your account, you're going to land on a page that looks just like this. I've got quite a few assistants already set up using this, but all you need to do is go over to new agent. Once you've clicked new agent, it's going to give you two different settings for two different agent platforms. We need to select simple VoiceGlow, and we can give it a name as Vapi demo tutorial, and then just hit create. Once you've gone ahead and done that, you're going to land on a page that looks like this. And VoiceGlow gives us a lot of customization when it comes to our chatbots. This is a really advanced platform that gives us a lot of depth into deploying our chatbots and really customizing this thing a lot. I'm not going to do a full dive into every feature on VoiceGlow because this will take quite a while, but I'll just cover the fundamental things for getting this set up on the voice side of things. One thing that you can quickly do is just scroll down and change some of the colors here to match your website. So you can go ahead and click on custom theme, add in some custom colors, put it on dark mode, put it on auto palette or whatever, change it to whatever color you like so we can actually have it match our website. You can also go ahead and change the name. You can change the profile picture. You can pretty much change everything that's here. So this can be a fully custom chatbot. You'll have no idea that it's a Vapi assistant coming from or VoiceGlow assistant at all. It'll be a fully custom platform that you can change the colors, the font, everything, the branding can all be done here on VoiceGlow. So to go ahead and create our voice assistant here on VoiceGlow, we can go ahead and go to this channels button right here. And what you'll immediately see is this voice setup. So powered by Vapi, powerful real-time voice-to-voice. Connect your agent to a phone number or enable real-time voice-to-voice on web widgets. That's perfect. That's exactly what we're looking for. And we can do that directly through this. So on this voice part of it down here, you can also connect this to a lot of different platforms. So if we want to do this, connect it to WhatsApp, connect it to Discord, we can all do it through here as well. Because VoiceGlow is not just a platform that takes APIs and then puts it on our website like Vapi. This is something that we can actually build an assistant from scratch with. So we can actually go to the prompt here and we can actually just build a prompt. And I believe this is just using the assistants API technology, if you're familiar with that, to just create your own sort of chatbot assistants through here. But for the purpose of this video, I'm just going to be connecting the Vapi assistant. So we're just going to go ahead and click connect, and it's going to prompt us to add in quite a few credentials here. And this will directly connect our assistant to our VoiceGlow account. So the first thing that we need to get is the Vapi assistant ID. So this is the particular assistant that's assigned to our Vapi bot that we've created. So if I go back to Vapi, what you'll see here, Mary, just below this, we've actually got an assistant ID, and you can just click on the copy button, go back to VoiceFlow or VoiceGlow, paste it in here, and then automatically that'll start to connect to that particular assistant. Then what we need to do is obviously authenticate that that is our assistant, and we can do that by connecting Vapi to VoiceGlow by clicking into our credentials. Once you've clicked into your credentials, it's going to ask for API keys, and this will allow VoiceGlow to get access to all of our assistants through our API keys. So to do this, go back to Vapi, go all the way down to your account settings, which is at the bottom left, go up to API keys, and you're going to get access to all of the values that VoiceGlow is looking for. So on this page here, we've got access to private and public API keys. And all I need to do is just click on the copy buttons right here. So copy ID, my private key, add that into here, go to the public key, copy my public key, and we can put that into the public API key. Once you've gone ahead and added in those two keys, just click on save in the top right, and then it's going to say that Vapi is now connected to your agency. So that's perfect. We're now authenticated with Vapi, and then all you need to do is make sure your assistant ID is pasted in here with that particular Vapi assistant that you're looking for. Then at the bottom here, we have a button that says enable Vapi on the web. And so that's exactly what we're looking for. So we're just going to go ahead and click that. And that's what's going to put our Vapi assistant on our website chatbot. And then we can also add in a Vapi web pop-up message. So that's, I don't think this is needed, but we can just say, hello, how can I help you? And then once again, just making sure to save it every time. And now if we go back to the overview section here on VoiceGlow, What you'll now see that wasn't here before is this sort of phone number icon next to the refresh button here. And this is what it's going to allow us to directly call our Vapi assistant. So if I just go ahead, click that phone number, there we go. That's our pop-up message that we entered just previously. It says, hello, how can I help you? And then we can just click this button right here and it's going to start calling Mary from Vapi.
Hello, this is Mary from Mary's Dental. How can I assist you today?
Hey Mary, how's it going? I was looking to see if I could book an appointment today.
Hey there, I'm doing great. Thanks for asking. Sure thing, I can help you with that. Can I get your full name, please?
Yeah, my name is John Smith.
Thanks, John. And what would you be coming in for today?
I'm just coming in to get a regular checkup.
Got it, John. Regular checkups are important. When were you thinking of coming in?
So there we go. That works pretty great. We can directly start talking to it. And you can also see we get a live transcription of exactly what's being said from not only the bot, but myself as well. It's going to be live transcribed. And so then we can also just go ahead and start talking to it manually over text. So if we wanted to go ahead and end the call, I can now just say, I'd like to book in for tomorrow. And then you can see the bot will just continue on like normal. It says here that it doesn't have access to booking appointments. That's because that pretty basic template doesn't have that set up, but that is something that is pretty easy to do as well. So we can just book appointments through the bot. And if we had a function set up, it would have just done that. So that is a really cool way that we can integrate not only voice, but text, combine them together and create a really powerful assistant that can sit on websites in a lot of different forms. So now to go ahead and actually deploy this thing on a website, there's a couple of different options that VoiceFlow gives us for deploying the system. So if I just go to the top right of our VoiceFlow main page here, click on the deploy button, we're going to see quite a few examples of ways that we can actually go ahead and deploy this code onto a website. One of the first options that it gives us is a chat box, which it says in the brackets iframe like. So that just means it's not going to be that sort of bubble in the bottom right corner. This is something that you can put anywhere on the web page. So if you want to have your chatbot right in the middle of the web page, for whatever reason, you can do that and just have it as sort of like an iframe, put directly in the middle of your website. And then the third option they have is an iframe directly. These are pretty similar. That just depends on what your website accepts, whether it wants this type of code or that type of code. Pretty similar stuff though. The main and most traditional method is the pop-up, which is sort of just that traditional bottom right of your website where you've got the little bubble and somebody can click into and then just start to talk to the chatbot. And then at the end here, they have this full HTML example. So if you don't have a website, you can go ahead and just copy this HTML code and then just deploy this for testing. So we're not really going to be needing that because I do have a website that I am going to demo this on. So now I'm going to go ahead and test this on my own website. So I've just clicked on the pop-up section here. I'm just going to go ahead and copy that code. This right here is my Webflow website. I've just gone to a sort of random page on my website. I'm just going to show you how simple it is to take this chatbot and put it on the website. So if you're using Webflow or using any website provider, it's going to have pretty similar settings in how you add JavaScript code to the website. In the case of Webflow, what you can do is go over to your page, click on the little settings button, and then if you scroll all the way down, what you'll see is these two bit of code, custom code sections. This one is the inside head tag, and this one is the before body tag. And so all we're going to do is just copy and paste this directly into the before body tag box right here. Click on save, and that will add our chatbot directly onto this page. So there we go. I've got my chatbot popping up now in the bottom right corner of this web page. I can go ahead and click into this, and this is going to load that assistant that I was just demoing to you. And then we can just go ahead and click that voice button. And now we should have a direct connection with Vapi through our website chatbot.
Hello, this is Mary from Mary's Dental. How can I assist you today?
Hey Mary, I was just wondering to see if this chatbot was working, that's all.
Haha, yep, I'm definitely here and ready to help. Let me know if you have any questions about our dental office.
If you are looking to build AI phone agents for your business, the new OpenAI real-time voice API is a game changer. It enables a hyper-realistic voice with very low latency, and I'm going to show you how to utilize it. You can get this set up in minutes with no code, and even better, I'll show you how you can actually get 60 minutes of API usage for completely free. I've built AI phone systems for various industries and tested almost every platform out there. In this video, I'll be using Retell AI, who has sponsored this video, to show you how to create your own AI phone agent using the real-time voice API. First, I'll explain what makes the real-time API different from traditional AI voice systems. Then we'll dive into Retell AI to see how to set up your own agent, activate the real-time API, and then test the system in action. My goal is to keep you updated on the latest advancements in AI tech for businesses so you can stay ahead of the curve. By the end, you'll know how to create a fully functional OpenAI real-time AI phone agent where there is no code required. To get started, I want to actually cover how AI phone systems are built today. Currently, 5 components make up an AI phone system, each playing a very crucial role in its function. So number 1 is the AI model. So this is the brain behind the operation. It's really the part of the system that generates all the responses. The AI model will process the conversation and decide how to respond based on your input. This is what your typical OpenAI GPT model does. The second piece is the transcriber. So this tool listens to your voice, converts it into text, and sends that text to the AI model. You can think of this as the system's ears. It allows the AI to hear you. The accuracy of the transcriber is very critical because if the system doesn't understand what you're saying, the AI won't be able to generate any relevant responses. Now that the AI has generated a response, it must be delivered back to you. So this is where the voice model comes in. It converts the AI's text-based responses into speech, turning words into audio that sounds like a human voice. So now we've got the AI, the transcriber, and the voice models all working together, but none of this would matter if you obviously couldn't make the call. So this is where the phone provider comes in. The phone provider integrates the system with an actual phone number so the AI can make and receive phone calls. And then finally, we need something to connect all of these pieces together. So the AI phone or AI voice platform connects the AI model, transcriber, voice model, and phone provider. It's really just a cohesive system. And so this is really just the glue that allows everything to work seamlessly so you don't have to piece together each component manually yourself. So as you can see, there are obviously a lot of moving parts that need to be working together for this system to function. And while these systems work pretty well at the moment, all of these separate components do introduce some element of latency or delays between when you speak and when the AI processes your speech and when it actually responds. So each element, whether it's the transcriber or the voice model, can just add a little bit of delay. But here's where things are getting really interesting. So just a few weeks ago, OpenAI released access to its new real-time voice API, and this is a total game changer. With OpenAI's real-time voice API, you no longer need to deal with separate components for each part of the call. Instead, OpenAI has packaged the AI model, transcriber, and voice provider all into one API request. So everything from the AI thinking, hearing, and responding is now happening almost simultaneously. So let me show you a quick demo of how this actually works and how it sounds.
Hi there. This is Kate from Retell Health. May I speak with Cindy, please?
Yeah, this is Cindy.
Great. I wanted to remind you about your annual checkup on Thursday, April 4th, 2024 at 10 a.m. PDT. Are you available for the appointment?
Yeah, that sounds great. So as you can hear, the response time is incredibly fast. The system feels more fluid and natural, reducing the lag typical with older setups. So this speed allows for real-time human-like conversations without the awkward pauses or delays that we have seen before. The reduced latency will mean a better customer experience. Conversations will now feel smoother, more natural, and less robotic. Having everything in one API request now makes it easier to customize and fine-tune the voice and tone of the AI. So OpenAI has obviously already shown us how to modify the style and tone of the AI's voice by simply just giving it instructions to do so. So there's really no need for any complicated voice model tweaks. So without further ado, let's actually go ahead and build this. So this right here is the Retell AI platform. So this is where we're going to be building our entire agent, connecting all of the platforms together. So this is our AI phone agent development platform, where essentially everything that we do is going to be right here. To get started with Retell, you can go ahead and sign up using my link in the description to create your own account. And once you've done that, you'll land on a page that looks just like this. You'll land in your workspace, and this is where we're going to be creating all of our agents. Once your account is created and you're on this main dashboard page right here, what you can go ahead and do is just create your agent right away. So we're going to go ahead and click the top right button and click create agent. And you'll notice that we get 3 different options when creating our agent. So Retell has a few different options. The main 2 are the single prompt agent and the multi-prompt agent. Now, the single prompt agent is what I've showcased previously on the channel. This is where we provided a set of instructions in a prompt, and then this prompt is the main prompt it uses to base the entire assistant off of. There's also the multi-prompt agent, and this is for actually attaching multiple prompts together. This is not something that I will cover in this video. If you would like to see a video using the multi-prompt stage, where it's actually got like a bit of a canvas where you can actually drag and drop blocks, if you would like to see that, let me know in the comments. Otherwise, we're going to start off with the single prompt agent. Once we've gone ahead and clicked that, we're going to get this right here where we can actually select a template. For the purpose of this video, I'm just going to click on start from blank. Once you've gone ahead and done that, you're going to land on a page that looks just like this. So once again, very similar to the Vapi platform. If you have seen my other videos on that platform, what we're doing is we're providing a prompt in the instruction set right here. and these are going to be used to base the entire assistant's personality from. So we're going to talk about its role, its objective, its personality, and then the entire assistant is going to be built based on how we tell it to act and respond. If you would like to see a video of me comparing the Vapi platform to Retell AI, definitely let me know in the comments. I've just gone back a step and I've actually just gone ahead and selected one of the templates that they provided. I just wanted to get the prompt in there so I didn't have to write out an entire prompt. If you did want to learn about prompt engineering and prompting these voice assistants, I do have a few other videos that will get you up to speed as to how to do that. But for this purpose of this video, I'm just going to show you how to get the real-time voice API up and running. So this template has obviously got quite an extensive and well-written prompt automatically in here. And this is just a healthcare check-in random thing here. Kate from appointment department at Retell Health calling. Obviously this is all fake and this is just a template they generated. And we're going to use this to talk to the real-time API. So first things first, I'm actually going to test it without the real-time API. So once you've got your prompt set up, or you can just choose one of the templates, all we need to do is go over to the test audio function right here. Now, a really good thing about Retell is that we can actually use test LLM. So instead of having to call the assistant every single time and use up quite a bit of money having been spent on all of the audio on ElevenLabs and things like that, we can actually just use test LLM. And we can just type our response and we can just type hello and we can just directly talk to our prompt without having to endure all these costs. And we're just talking to the LLM only. For the purpose of this, we do want to listen to the audio. So I'll just click test agent.
Hi there. This is Kate from the appointment department at Retell Health. Am I speaking with Cindy?
Yeah, that's right. You're speaking with Cindy.
Great. I'm calling to remind you about your annual body checkup on Thursday, April 4th, 2024 at 10 a.m. PDT. Does that time work for you?
Yeah, are you able to count to 10 really quickly?
I'm here to help with your appointment details. Is there anything the doctor should know before your checkup?
So there you have the sort of current setup and structure for these voice assistants that's using the AI model, and it's using something like ElevenLabs, and it's using a separate transcriber model. So it's still pretty quick and it still sounds pretty good and would definitely work for a lot of use cases still. But we can really level it up a notch if we do want to take it further. And we can go over to the models over here and we can select the real-time beta option. Now, one thing that you will notice is that it is quite expensive. So it is much more expensive than the other models that we were using. So the GPT-4o model that I was just using is 5 cents a minute, and the real-time beta on Retell is $1.50 a minute. So this is very expensive. Obviously, this is not something that you probably want to use for every single one of your calls, but depending on the use case, if you are sending a low volume of calls or you're receiving a low volume of calls, the real-time API, as you'll see, is quite realistic and it might be worth it depending on your use case. But this cost is definitely going to go down in a few weeks, a few months. No doubt that this cost is going to be reduced over time with all the new updates they're releasing all the time. We've seen it with all the other models. They're always reducing in cost, and I've got no doubt that this is going to be much cheaper in the future. So once we've gone ahead and selected that voice, it now says real-time beta up in the corner here. And you'll notice that the voices that we can choose have now unfortunately been restricted to only some of OpenAI's voices. Obviously, when we're using OpenAI's voice model, we're not going to be able to use something like ElevenLabs or these other providers because they're not being involved in this process. We're only using OpenAI, so we only get these 3 voices. So maybe this is a deal breaker if you do need a different type of accent or sound. For myself, this is not something that I'd be able to deploy in the Australian market yet because there's not any Australian voices. There's only American voices. Maybe that's fine, maybe it's not. But for the most part, this is what we get. Now that we've got that all set up, I'm just going to click on test your agent.
Hi there. This is Kate from Retell Health. May I speak with Cindy, please?
Yeah, this is Cindy.
Great. I wanted to remind you about your annual checkup on Thursday, April 4th, 2024 at 10 a.m. PDT. Are you available for the appointment?
Yeah, that sounds great.
Perfect. Is there anything you'd like the doctor to know before your checkup? Any new health concerns or changes?
I actually broke my arm, if that's a problem.
I'm sorry to hear about your arm. It's important for the doctor to know. When did the injury happen? And are you currently receiving treatment for it?
No, I haven't received any treatment for it.
Thanks for letting me know. It's important to mention this to the doctor during your checkup. Just a reminder, please don't eat or drink before your appointment. If there are any changes in your health condition, please give us a call back. Do you have any other questions I can help with?
So there you have it. That is how the real-time API sounds. It's really up to you to decide whether or not it's worth the substantial increase in cost compared to the GPT-4o model. For our clients, we're probably going to continue to use the 4o model just because of the significant cost savings compared to the real-time API. But obviously, if we are in a situation where we want the most realistic and the cost doesn't necessarily matter, the real-time API is the choice that I would make. It definitely has more of a personality to it, and it definitely has more emotion and emphasis on some of the words as it was speaking through. And a lot of this still depends on the prompt we give it. So obviously the conversation that I just had, I'd say there are definitely some improvements to be made to the prompt. Obviously the way that it was speaking wasn't the most human-like, but I think if it was with a better prompt to say some more human-like things, we could get it to sound really quite realistic, and you'd see all the benefits of the real-time API. And like I said at the start of the video, if you do sign up for Retell using my link in the description, you will get 60 free minutes to actually go ahead and just try out and test out the real-time API or any of their other systems. If you would like an AI phone system for your business, don't hesitate to schedule a call using my link in the description.